why we are being defeated by, what was it? Like Truck Simulator or whatever it was. Tetris.
Look, have you played Truck Simulator? I mean, it's like you're driving a real truck. What could be more fun in life than that?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
would you rather drive a truck or press F on pinatas? Which one would you rather do?
Oh. Well, I haven't had time to even do the pinatas, dude. Do you know why? Because I've been doing I-100, man. Okay, that's the good stuff, you know. It's a good time
What did you get for that?
It's a good time to welcome our wonderful guests here, Jawgeous, Xeberneth, Inks. Okay, it's welcome, friends. Okay, the TeaTime and Inks. I got nothing. In fact, I got less than nothing because the further I went, okay,
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
So if that's worth anything, which it isn't, then yeah, good job. Yeah. They really should. Honestly, they really should. They need to address the rewards for that scaling thing. Because while, again, I'm not super interested in something like that, someone like you or perhaps Destroyer, if the rewards were actually there, like those types of people really should be rewarded for taking it that far. Or can you go past 100?
Well, you could keep going forever, but it just stays there, right? It stays there forever. It just stays at 99, keeps going at 99 stacks. So you could...
The progress effectively stops.
Yeah. So... the infinite challenge. I mean, look, okay, do you know what they said, okay, when you talk to the MVC? Like, increasingly impossible. I guess I didn't actually technically say it was infinite, I suppose. But yeah, you know, we have beaten it. We never got to see I-100 because it was only I-99, but it still counts as I-100 in my book, okay, because it was the 100th wave, and it was an I, but it had 99 stacks, and then we killed it. And then it was great. Okay, but yeah, I would love to see it with some repeatable rewards. You know, I would even be really happy with like a hidden achievement. If it was a hidden achievement, I think that would actually be insane. Right? Like, imagine if, you know, they had this from the start, right? If you get to the, you know, the 100th round, okay, it just gives you an achievement. Says, yeah, what are you doing, buddy? Like, what is that? Why are you wasting your time so much? That would be fun, right? I don't think it necessarily has to be like a financial incentive, because if it was, I think people would be upset, right? I mean, people were upset with AP on PvP titles, right? You know, like people are upset with raids even existing. So it's going to be a tough sell to put it, you know, in the casual content of the festival, to have something that, you know, is locked behind actually playing the game. Okay, it's got to be all about the F pressing. Yeah,
I mean that's total BS.
Ooh.
There's no reason. First of all, ArenaNet doesn't want you farming content. We talked about this the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, which is nonsense, especially when it comes to this kind of thing, because there's a daily cap as well per account on what you can get even from the open world nonsense, jumping around and getting the guys, right? I think it's like 30 chests per account per day or something.
Just buy them.
I mean, but why not just let me grind it all day, all night? Why not let me be Destroyer? Why can't I roleplay as Destroyer and just max it out for as long as I want to?
The economy?
Oh, come on. I mean, the economy. The 3,000 food that you need to eat.
Yeah.
But they really should have, like, scaling rewards for getting to 99. And then, like you said, you can have an achievement that gives 0 AP, since people will cry, and a title. Some sort of title for doing it, you know?
Can I get that title without trying for it?
No.
Well, I'm not happy then.
You gotta get to that 100i, man. Like, if you can't get it, there's no title. I think the community would accept something like that. But you know, as long as it had no real reward to it. To be honest, I kind of feel like the community wouldn't mind if the reward scaled. So perhaps ArenaNet were a little bit conservative there, actually, in the way they designed that event. I do have to give credit where it's due, though. You know, aside the various issues with it, I really enjoyed doing that. Actually, I had a lot of fun. I got a lot of value out of playing Dragon Bash now. And this is the thing, guys, you know, I've got to kind of eat my words here, because I said that Dragon Bash is like trash. It's my least favorite festival. Like, no one likes that shit. Okay, and it's because the first time round, right, I'm exposing the Guild Wars 2 community here, right? Okay, there's gonna be a lot of exposing here. Like, Jaw's gonna, you know, take over the expose later on.
Am I?
Yeah. I've already told the stream. I tweeted out, like, Jaw's going in hard on the game today, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I just said, yeah, he's going in hard today, right? You know, it's gonna be great. Yeah, it's the original Dragon Bash, it was like nothing. It was like a big nothing. Like there was just some holographic things, and you could get some wings, right? There was basically nothing to the festival. But this time they reworked it. They brought it back. Okay, they got the mix here. And you know what? They actually made a really, really cool event. And I enjoyed it a lot. The Dragon Arena is a great idea. I was initially really depressed when I thought it was like it just mixed you up with like 10 random people and you just go in. But no, that is not the case. There is a dungeon mode as well with infinite scaling. I had a lot of fun. We're kind of thinking about the ways we can make it safe to be able to actually beat the final boss or get as far as possible, right? So really enjoyed that. It was absolutely fantastic. The only way it could have been better is if it was a raid, right? Just like the Freezy event with 10 players, right? That would be the only way it could have been better. Other than that, it was perfect in every way. Okay, I really enjoyed it. Well done, Arena. Okay, that's the pen of approval there. Okay, you guys did some good work there. You guys, that was good, right? Thumbs up. Well done. Yeah.
Did you like the helmet skin?
I haven't did. Okay, I've been so absorbed in I-100. I actually have no idea. You guys are gonna have to tell me what happened in the rest of the festival. I have no idea what Dragon Bash is, except for the Dragon Arena. My life is the Dragon Arena.
To any of it, but I like the helmet, so I went and did the achievement.
I think it's actually a pretty good festival. Unlike the Royer, I hate beetles. I hate the stupid beetle mount, but the beetle race is actually pretty good. It's pretty forgiving as well. Then there's another one where you bash pinatas adventure, which I actually thought was a lot of fun.
300 of them.
What, the 300 of what?
The achievement. You have to do 300 pinata bashes.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's the adventure itself is pretty cool. You can jump. It's got like a jump mechanic.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a lot of fun as well. MOA betting is kind of pointless and silly. You can just bet on all 5 and get your 10 wins and sit around and do nothing. That's the only super duper boring part. And what else was there? Oh, burning effigies, which is pointless. Fireworks stuff. If you like the fireworks, you run around setting off fireworks and crap. But overall, it's not too bad. Some of the prices for the miniatures and helmets and whatever are a little pricey, but doing the achievements is just like every other festival. You do the annual stuff and whatever, and you can be done pretty quick if you want to.
I think isn't that kind of the point though? Isn't that kind of the point? Because I was talking to a very long time ago. We had Zorik on TeaTime, right? And we were talking regarding do you guys remember the shit show over the Halloween Beetle Race achievement? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
We were talking about that, and he was like, yeah, like all the festival content should be like really super, super easy. And I know you know what? I can almost agree with that, to be honest. Like, I kind of feel that, you know what, it's a festival. Let's have a bit of a meme time. Like everyone can basically get everything, or at least beat the achievement, the meta achievement at least, and be able to collect up all the AP. Because let's be honest, like that is kind of what it's for. It's for like a little bit of content to keep people going in the downtime between something happening, right? And people want to get their good feels. You want to get their good vibes. They want to beat everything, I guess.
What about tribulation mode on Sab?
Tribulation mode on Sab I'm not sure if that would fly today, but yeah, that is an example of something that's a little bit trickier, right? It gives it quite a lot of AP as well, doesn't it? Actually, doesn't it get quite a lot of AP?
Can't you get carried through it?
Yeah.
No.
I suppose you. Yeah.
Even if you can't do it, you can pay gold to another person to do so, or find a friend.
So. Yeah.
That is true.
I don't know what are friends, but I've heard that they can help.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, well, you can't leech it. Oh, apparently Lynn says you can't leech it. Well, that's good then, actually. Well, yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. Leeching is now, you just get taco, right? You just get taco and just follow the little markers, right? And then it's easy peasy.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. That would still be too difficult, though. So I don't mind a lot of the achievements being a lot easier. But I think it wouldn't it be a little bit interesting? This is why I kind of wanted to, grab Zorik for this sort of thing. We could all go on him like 4v1. But wouldn't it be a little bit interesting to have some challenge to some of this stuff? I suppose it is just a very different mindset, and that's again another reason why you want to have someone from like a more casual perspective. to talk to her, because it is a very different mindset. It's like the game is, is about, for a lot of us here, a lot of us in the chat, video games, they're about, the journey, right? Overcoming something, right? Actually engaging with the game. But for a lot of players in Guild Wars 2, it's kind of like, walking around a theme park, right? You just, oh, look at the pretty thing. Look at that. Look at this, right? And in a way, the achievements, right, are like a built-in itinerary, right? They lead you around the world. That's what they are. Now, the way Zorik described it is that those are quests, right? In the same way that in World of Warcraft, you have, go and kill 12 boars or whatever, right? The achievement system says, yeah, go and press F on 300 pinatas, right? Yeah, that's good. So like, it's in a way, like, a lot of this stuff should be really accessible, but I don't know. I'm still very similar to the idea of having some
90% of it is.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even need to do every single achievement in order to get the holographic helmet that is like the new big exciting thing this year. Yeah, so like you can eat food and taffy and whatever the hell else you need to do and crack pinatas open. Like, you can do all the easy stuff without even having to worry about that. And even the beetle race, you can do the beetle race adventure rather than race against other people. You don't even have to be competitive beetle racer. You could just do it. You just got to get gold within a certain amount of time or whatever.
The mower thing got me pretty hard.
The mower thing, yeah, like you just have to spend Zytaffy and sit there.
Yeah.
Just pick them all. You always win. You're always a winner.
Always a winner.
I mean,
yeah, literally give what's
wait a minute.
Wait, do you not know that?
What? Okay, right. hit me with that.
Okay.
Hit me with that.
The achievement requires you to win the mower races 5 times. You have to pick a mower winner 5 times. Okay. So what you do is you bet 10 Zytaffy on each mower, so that no matter what happens, you win.
Do you
you get the achievement easy, dude? Like, you don't have to try. It's just...
Do you profit by doing that, or do you lose?
I don't know. I think you break
even. So.
Okay.
You don't profit, but you get your achievement.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Right? Easy. The only other thing is they need the Stampede, which is the open world part. They need to scale that up a little bit. And I would also say that they should offer, at the point that they tell you to go to, they should offer like a Raptor trainer guy, just for those who don't have it, because otherwise you're getting no credit. Like, if you don't have a mount to get around quickly and you don't park yourself at a node that's probably going to light up, there's a high chance that you get no credit, especially if you're on an older computer that suffers from FPS drop. There's a good chance that the Zerg just comes through and wipes it out in half a second and you get no credit for it. So just those 2 little things: scale up the HP on the open world mobs that spawn, and give them a Raptor trainer, which is already in the game. You just got to plop another one down. And the Stampede event will be a little bit better for those who have trouble getting credit, which is a real thing.
Oh, man. It doesn't all feel like sometimes ArenaNet puts the kiddie gloves on, doesn't it? It's like, oh my god, it's what is going on here?
What, you mean that the whole game isn't that?
Well, I didn't realize it was that extreme that you can. Well, actually, no, of course I did. I mean, like, the entire game is filled with things that you literally cannot fail, right? So I don't know why I'm surprised.
Exists.
No. Oh, yeah, that's like that's a good one. That is a very good way to lose. Okay, that's But you know what? As Xeberneth, you trade that 100 gold and 250 hectares. You trade it for fun. Okay, for enjoyment. For happiness, right?
Surprise mechanics.
Exactly.
If depression is happiness and fun for you, that's interesting.
Oh, well,
you never win in that one.
Well, that is why you've.
You're a PvEer, so gold means something to you. What you need to do is become a PvP main and just make loads of gold and just wank it away, and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. It doesn't matter.
I don't think that will work on me, Joe. I sit on 10k gold and I'm like, I don't want to spend it. It's my precious. Like,
sounds like hoarding to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
10 gold.
10 gold? Okay. Yeah, just send me all your gold. Send me all your gold, okay? I need it.
I need to spend it on my peepos.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I've got the big, I've got 10,000 gold, guys, okay? So I'm officially rich now. Haha, nice. Okay, you gotta get that 5 figures, right? Once you get to 5 figures, that's when you're seriously there, right? That's when you've actually made it. But anyone under 5 figures is a pleb, right? You're worthless, right? Yeah, you got nothing, and that's just fact. Okay, that is fact. Yeah,
I'll never have a large amount because I'll buy something to unlock on my account. I'm just that type of person.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
Nike called me a pleb. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's
nice
okay.
pleb. It's true.
My feelings are hurt, but
Yeah.
So
we report him?
I'm used to it.
I think he's definitely reportable.
He called me a pleb as well.
I think we need to get the big ban here. We need to ban this guy
We can
immediately.
clip it.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can
ship it.
Screenshot, get it done.
Anyone
right?
who doesn't have a Chak egg sack, I like that.
Well, that puts me out of this. I had a Chak egg sack, but I gave it away. So does that count? I mean, actually, I have been graced by 2 Chak egg sacks. Okay, over the course of my life. So yeah, there you go. But
I've got 1 sack.
Both. Oh yeah. Has it got any Chak eggs though?
No.
Okay. I don't know. Dragon Bash. Well, there's not much more to say about it. It's all right, I guess. You know, it's we got some festivals. You know, it's some good shit. Okay, it's not bad. But I guess it's time to move on because I mean, it's all right. You know, you collect all the things, guys. Do all the mindless achievements, and I mean, I guess that's fun. You know, everyone's happy. Everyone's getting their funny little hats, funny wings. It's good shit. All right. In that case, it's time for something else. And you know, you guys know what it's time for. For the PvP friends about here, okay? Balance patch, guys. Balance patch. It better be soon. It's probably Tuesday, actually. If I am any judge. The day you leave? Oh, no. So you're going to miss the game's going to be fixed. It's going to be a utopia after that, dude.
So what I'm hoping is that, so the day that I go on holiday is like the 9th. So that's when I actually think that the balance patch will come in, because when I spoke to Ben said, well, it's not ready yet. It's not ready quite yet. So I was like, okay, I'll speculate a couple of Tuesdays from now, because that's going to be like 6 weeks. That'll be like sort of midway point of the season. So I genuinely think that's when the balance patch will come out. Then I've got 2 weeks where I'm on holiday, drunk as a skunk. And then I come back and everyone's like figured out the meta, and I can just walk into it and I don't have to deal with any of the kerfuffle that's going to be happening. I can just just walk into it very gently and just be all right. So I'm excited for it, because I don't have to deal with the old fucking explosion that's going to be the balance patch.
Yeah,
it's going to be big, dude.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard. I've heard some very interesting things about the balance patch. Certainly with regards to PvP. You know, it's going to be a fun one, I think, for sure. But I think if you're in a game mode that isn't PvP, I mean, I think nothing's really going to happen, actually, because PvE is actually in a pretty good state right now. I don't think anything really needs to get shuffled around. But, you know, I do.
Mirage?
Mirage? I don't really mind stuff
as nice as it is, you have every Condi boss dominated by that class. Except for Doom, which is an outlier.
Here's an interesting thing here. Okay, here's an interesting thing here. Because Lagos is probably the most egregious example of this, right?
Yes.
I actually think that players are bad to the point where they'd be better off not playing Mirage than playing Mirage. For some reason, the class appears to bamboozle people very hard.
I actually don't think so.
I don't know, dude.
Like, the evade spam is so good.
Oh, the evades are good, but
the thing is,
they're so bad.
Okay, imagine a Peepo playing Soul Beast with shortbow, dealing like 10k DPS, which would lead to a long fight. A long fight means that Peepo can die from more things. And, you know, you need Mirage. You need all those dodges, and you need to actually kill the boss fast so it doesn't smush anyone.
Oh, okay, fine, you win. But
to be fair, like, I also want to say that if Peepo plays a Firebrand, Condi Firebrand, I think it can be, if Mirage will ever get smushed, I guess we just will all convert to Condi Firebrands, which bursts as much.
Condi Firebrand has a lot of buttons to press though, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, actually, yeah, that's a fair point. I guess the buttons will scare the Peepos.
Yeah, it's a good point, but all right, this is my hot take. Are you guys ready for this? My thermonuclear take here, boys. Okay, like, this is actually the thermonuclear take, right? They should never nerf anything in PvE ever again. Okay, they should actually probably only buff things. Now, the game is already arguably very hard power crept, but we're going to need to power creep it more, because the raids are too hard for people right now. Like, people are already complaining. They already can't do them. They're doing like 10k DPS on fucking Mirage, okay? Like, this is not good. We need to actually buff the boss. We need to actually buff things in PvE, because otherwise people aren't going to be able to do it. Like, yeah, at the high end, the raids are just, you know, it's easy. Like, they're getting farmed. But if you look at pugs, okay, I'm seeing people doing like 10k DPS, like enraging Lagos, or just like dying to Lagos. I see some scary things, man. I see some very, very scary things. And to be honest, I think nerfing things, even like the OP shit. Like, do you know what happens if you nerf Mirage? Do you know that Largos like becomes like impossible? Okay, for a lot of pugs, dude. Like unironically, like it cannot be done.
Definitely.
Right? Like if they keep nerfing stuff like the day they nerfed Chaos Chrono, right, for raids, like so many people were like, oh, can't do it anymore. It's impossible. It's too difficult, right? Yeah, I give up. People just like rage quit raids in mass. Yeah, I mean, as much as I would like to see nerfs and to make the raids harder, I think the gulf between like the entry level raider and the high level raider is increasing. It actually reminds me a lot of the PvP scene, and this is something that I think Jaw will definitely be able to tell us about, is like how like the difference between like the high end and the low end, like, the gulf is like increasing, if anything, or is very, very high at this point, right? If you draw the comparison between like a high level player, you know, Plat 3 legend, okay, the difference between them and even someone in Plat 1 is absolutely huge, right? It's absolutely massive, and even more so into say gold, right? Like gold 3, gold 2, etc. Right? Like the gap is huge, and it's almost like insurmountable at that point. So the game is difficult to balance in this sort of respect, actually, because there are a lot of things. Well, this is particularly in PvP, actually, I suppose, that are either really, really good at high level and kind of useless in low level, or the opposite as well, right? Like you have some stuff that is really fucking cancerous against players who are not that good, but it's not amazing later on. Like, I think a fun example of this is stuff like Soul Beast, right? Like the one-shot Soul Beast. I mean, it's not really that good, but it's very good against people who don't know how to play against it, right? And it just destroys them. And I would actually say Scrapper is kind of an example of this as well. Like Scrapper is incredibly overpowered against people who don't know how to play against it, right? But versus people who do know how to play against it, it's not.
It depends
not
on
so
the
scary,
comp to
right?
deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Scrapper in itself is just like, it's very, very high, like heal crept or barrier crept. Like a lot of it is just pure sustainability. I actually watched a Scrapper stand still and eat a rampage from a Hollow-Smith. Just like didn't even move off the node. Just like ate every single ability, didn't cast anything. Used the stability dome, stood still, ate it all, and didn't die. Right? Like that's the kind of, if you get hit by a rampage, as anything else, you know, you're dodge rolling, you're fucking moving, you're kiting. Like you can relate to that. But when something like that happens, you're like, fuck me, like, what have they done to this class to actually make it like that? And the only alternative, really, even at higher level, is just to kite it, right? To out-rotate it. And then it gets to a point where if you don't win one of those nodes, or you keep trading off one of those nodes you've rotated out to, the game is probably going to go in the hands of the Scrapper, because, like, you can't control everybody and like try and say, don't go to that Scrapper, just leave him alone. And then as soon as they see the Scrapper, if he's rotated out, do the person on your team have the brains to go and like decap that node, or do they just leave it because they think the Scrapper's still there? There's like so many variables. So like all they need to do is make the Scrapper like nothing, and then I think PvP will return. I think that there's like 3 classes that need to like definitely get adjusted, or like 3 things. One of them is Scrapper, one of them is Rampage, right? And the other one is Revenant. If you adjust all 3 of those, the meta will change. Solo queue and ranked queue, like the ranked 5s. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I would also add one bonus meme, and it's not necessarily for balance purposes. It's for fun purposes. I think they need to like completely delete Chaos Mirage just from the chaotic interruption build. You know this one, Joe? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
countering it, dude.
Yeah, I don't think it's exactly broken. It's strong. Right? Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say it's like, oh my god, this build is like the best build ever. It's so OP, but it is just so spectacularly unfun to play against. Right? Like it is just like the purest anti-fun imaginable. So yeah, that is like number 4. I would argue that maybe Warrior in general needs to get a little bit of a slap. I think Warrior is yeah, like Warrior is a bit unfun, I think, a lot of the time, because like it's like well maybe it's because I play Necro. It's like, oh, I got hit by 1 CC, I guess I'm dead, right? Like that kind of thing is, I think, is really shit gameplay. But I don't know, like maybe I would
say it's things like Rampage though that does that to you. If you remove Rampage from Warrior,
there's a lot less to dodge, right? Yeah.
It's like you dodge the F1, you dodge like what, Shield 4, Bull's Charge. Like what else do you have to like really avoid from that?
I suppose so. Yeah, it's most like the Rampage that kind of forces you to be in a really bad spot. So yeah, like, to be honest, like I know this is a lot of work, but I really think that Warrior could use a new elite skill, or rather a rework of Signet of Rage, for example, as opposed because if they nerf Rampage, you're probably going to be in the situation where you still take it, right? You still take it. Because other than that, you don't really have much of an elite skill as your Warrior. So you've only got that, and you probably wouldn't take Signet of Rage. So I think you could really do with a rework, to be honest, like a changing of the elite, because Rampage is just, it's just not good. Like this overall design is something that is quite alarming. With Path of Fire, I think it's just like the concept of these massive power spikes, right? Like this is why Firebrand is really annoying as well for this reason. Like the class has this long cooldown, and when it's got its cooldowns up, it's really, really good, right? After that, it doesn't really do anything, right? And it's kind of like that with Warrior, except Warrior kind of does stuff a little bit all the time as well. But like when you have that Rampage, it's in the team fight. The Firebrand doesn't see you coming, and you throw the rock at him, and he's in Tome 2. He's got no Aegis. Well, there you go. I guess it's a dead Firebrand. That sort of thing, just in general, I don't really like. I think the power spikes of the game should be flattened out a lot. So, like, bring the baseline up a little bit, but like squish like the insane spikes down. I think that's kind of the really big problem with it. So, like even the idea of having a really long cooldown that's really powerful, I think doesn't really work with the way the current meta is, I suppose, because it's just too much. As you say, Rev. I'd be pretty surprised if Rev doesn't get the hammer. In fact, I've kind of heard that Rev is getting the hammer. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard some whispers.
Yes.
But it's been a long time going. And you know what Rev is? Well, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what this actually does to the meta, right? When it comes to PvP, right? Because Rev is currently dominating the team fight scene, right? You see some groups even running with double Rev, just to like spam boons and just one-shot people and deal an insane amount of damage, loads of CC, yeah, etc., right? If you get rid of Rev, though, what happens? Will it be even worse? Because I think if you do that, you kind of buff Firebrand Scourge just by proxy, because like the revs are the way to kind of deal with that in a way.
I mean, they were running Revenant and Thief beforehand. I think they only opted to go with the double rev because obviously you have like the stab rope on 5 anyway. So like all you have to do is find the Firebrand and you can use both Revenants and shut that down. So you don't need to steal anymore. If you nerf the overall pressure of what Revenant brings, then all it does have is that CC, and then maybe it's on par with Thief, in which case you might keep 1 rev for the team fight CC with Staff 5 again, and it still has unblockable damage for better sort of a timing use. Instead of just like engaging as a Revenant and just like trying to put as much burst damage out as possible, you'd probably have to like synergize with a Thief. You'd probably have to synergize with other people on your team as opposed to just being able to do that hard fucking pressure straight away.
Yeah.
So I don't think Revenant would lose its relevance. I think double Revenant would lose its relevance. You'd still need the pressure of the Thief, is what I'm saying. You'd need a Thief. You'd need the mobility and the engagement of the Thief. You'd need Larson to strike back. For example,
it's definitely a buff to Thief. A buff to Thief, right? Like I definitely think we'll see more Thief about the place if they nerf Rev. Yeah, if they nerf Rev. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think the new king of the team fight might end up being Hollow. I actually think Hollow is strong already, and well, it depends what they do to Hollow, right? I don't actually know if they're going to do anything. I haven't really heard anything regarding Hollow.
I've heard they're adjusting it.
So there will be some adjustments here, but I think Hollow can be really, really scary. It's a somewhat underrated class right now, I think. As it goes, people are like, yeah, I did all about that rev, but to honestly, man, like that Hollow, it's just so much value in the team fight, like the cleave, the CC. It's a lot of damage, right?
It gets fucked by one Scourge though, like a well-placed fucking boon conversion. Oh.
Yeah,
that fucking Hollow is dicked.
It's it's got to have weaknesses as well, right? But that's why you have the Firebrand to kind of carry it, I guess, right? Like you can convert that back right over. You can keep that cleanse on it. You can keep them going. And I don't know, Hollow, dude, you got to watch out. Hollow's gonna be coming through, dude.
We'll see.
Yeah, and the other thing that we were talking about just then is about like the side node stuff, because of the warrior nerfs, I think that will actually kind of free things up a fair bit. Actually, like if we see warrior becoming like less the dominant side noder, I think the other ones are. Would you say it's fair to say they're all fairly even, right? So I'd say stuff like Weaver and Soul Beast. I kind of think that if warrior was toned down, I kind of feel like you'd start to see those a bit more. We already see some Weaver gameplay actually, right? Like right off the bat, we see a bit of the Burn Weaver. And I think Soul Beast is certainly not too bad either, right? So I think if you take Warrior down a little bit, then I think you're going to be in a situation where you're going to see a lot more variety in the choices of side noder in particularly high level play, which is
we already see a lot though. Like I would say that every day that I solo queue, I see a Weaver, I see a Soul Beast side node, I even see Druid side node, I see Firebrand side node. I've actually seen a defense Spellbreaker as well. Like I've seen a lot of different variations. Prot Hollow, Scrapper. Like there's that's what 7 or 8 different side noders that you can expect to see in solo queue. In rank, if we're talking about like ATs, so we're talking about 5v5s, you're still probably only going to see Spellbreaker. You might see a Prot Hollow if the enemy team is like say like Flandry runs Mirage, right? If you saw Flandry on the side node, you might see someone like Prot Hollow to answer that, or something that has a lot of anti-condition to literally solely answer to the Mirage pressure. But I don't know. It would go up in the air. If Warrior gets nerfed, and if we see like some other side noders come down a little bit, I think you'll see like a lot more variety, and you might see more Hollow side nodes as opposed to just like team fight Hollow as well. But then I don't know.
No,
Speaking of Warrior.
Yeah. Oh, let's go.
So I don't PvP very much. It's not really my thing. But I did PvP today in unranked just for the stupid daily. I was playing Druid on the side nodes, as you guys were talking about, as Jaw was talking about. And I held a Warrior there for a very, very, very long time, doing basically nothing. Until he just started spamming that I'm fucking cancer, and then I killed him.
Wait, sorry, what were you playing?
Druid.
Druid.
Druid, yeah.
You killed a Warrior as a Druid?
Yeah, yeah. And then I went to Bell and capped Bell.
That is another thing. Actually, Druid is actually surprisingly as Joe. You definitely know this guy. You know Hideous Hero, right? Oh,
yeah.
All right, Hideous Hero. Uninstall the game, please. Seriously, just say.
He is so good on Druid. It's actually scary. He's really good.
Actually, uninstall. Never play this game again, dude.
You know the immobilize with the juvenile thing. He just like one shots you with the charge. He is so good because he times it so perfectly when you have nothing left, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get fucking butt fucked by this Grove thingy.
Whenever I see him on the enemy team, I'm like, oh my god, here we go again, boys. Like this is just. Oh no.
Yeah. Good guy, Gormless.
Yeah. Oh dear, like that guy needs to get the hell out of here. Like he is like pure AIDS. Actually, he's really good.
But I would like to see more like that. Yeah. You know, I'd like to see more side noders in PvP that do have
absolutely
a random build like that. I mean, obviously it's such a meme, but the cheese pays off so much sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I mean, Inks is a god gamer. That's true. You know, like he's the god of Druid.
I am terrible at structured PvP, but it's unranked, so who knows what is going to be in there. But at least on NA, and I know NA, haha, it's a joke, but they take it so seriously. I have no idea why. I have no idea why unranked is so important to these people, but they take it he was very angry about how much cancer I was playing Druid on a side node. Like, he was very upset.
Well, I mean,
did that on EU as well, though?
I don't know about unranked. Do people take unranked seriously?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I do one unranked game a day before I start structured.
A bit of a warm-up? Okay.
Yeah, that's a warm-up game.
Yeah,
and the amount of times that I'll get called, like, garbage or something just because, like, I'm rotating doing everything, and it's like, okay, dude, like, whatever, man.
Okay.
But people are toxic in unranked, dude. They don't realize it doesn't count for anything. I guess they really want their daily, you know?
Oh, the PvP is good for that, though, man. Oh,
all you have to do is play the game, though. You don't have to win.
Dude, no. You do an AT. AT gets all your dailies done in one go. Actually insane. Oh, man. I collect all those potions up. It's some good shit.
I consume mine every day.
So,
it feels bad.
To be honest, it's actually an exciting time for the balance. This could be a big balance. This could unironically shake things up if ArenaNet play their cards right, actually. So this could be a big one. I do really hope it's coming on Tuesday because I mean I want content, Joe. Okay, I need something to do on stream, and you know, reading the website. That's real content to me. So we need to get on that immediately. It's a big time for PvP actually. It could really change some stuff. It won't change anything in World versus World, obviously, because I mean that game mode doesn't exist. But you know, it might change something in PvP, and that's hype actually. That's hype. I honestly think that it would it will reinvigorate the scene a little bit at least, because one of the complaints about PvP right now is that it's a bit stale, right? It's just a little bit on the stale side because it's been there. And how long has the bloody team fight, you know, clown fiesta, you know, clown car been going on? Very long time.
3 seasons?
It's unlikely to change, to be fair. I think it will still be very team fight oriented. But you know, maybe you start to see a bit more variation in what's going on, right? You know, in how the games play out. And I think that's a good thing, right? That's a very good thing. Just at one brief steering of the conversation, Xeberneth, you play a lot of pug raids. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
What are they playing? What's going on in the pugs? What do you see? What do they do? What are they like?
I mean, everything. It's I don't. What boss are we talking about?
Well, is there any class that you just never see? I just think like in terms of like the PvE balance. Like, is there something that you know the pugs like did that is trash shit? Never playing it.
Well, I mean, I obviously rarely see scrappers and spellbreakers, but if we're talking about classes, not specializations, I don't think that anyone is, you know,
well, that's easy
right now.
There you go. I don't know why I expected
the game is perfectly balanced. There are no problems. Everything is perfect. Everything is fair. You know, it's you can play anything anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
The PvE is, you know, it's perfect. There's nothing to complain about.
There you go. That's incredibly easy. Yeah. That was not very difficult. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I do view PvE raids in particular as the best balanced it's ever been, probably. You know, it's pretty well balanced. But yeah, it's good.
See, the thing is with me with PvE, I always wonder why like PvE even has any dedicated balance patches, because I feel like everything is actually playable in PvE to some degree. Like, you don't have to play the optimum build to play raids. You could, like you said this yourself, Teapot. You said that people can just run into a raid with whatever the fuck they want, as long as they try their, you know, they do at least the minimum amount of damage, which I can't remember what you quoted that was, but you said that basically anybody can play anything and get most of the raid bosses done as long as they do the jobs within the raid, right? And, and those, you're not limited to a certain selection of classes. Whereas in PvP, if you don't play the meta classes, you are almost immediately at a disadvantage. Which is why I feel like PvP balance is much more important. But then I'm biased. So
no, I would completely agree with that. So, but yeah, you go ahead, Angus.
So I don't disagree. PvP balance, World versus World balance, both of them are way more important than PvE balance. But PvE balance is important in the sense that, let's take Chronomancer and Druid, for example. If you don't nerf them, if you don't bring them down a little bit, then you play no other classes, right? As far as support and healers go. The reason they keep nerfing Druid every single time is so some of these other classes that people play have a chance to be even accepted into a group or the community in general. Because while it doesn't have to be as stringent as it is on the classes being played, the PvE community in general is fairly stringent on what they accept as acceptable DPS or acceptable.
They still
healers.
Want efficiency.
Right. Yeah. You know, so the balance in that respect is important. Even though the balance is in a very good spot right now, but it has to do more with, I think, variety and toning down some of the stronger powered classes.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the problems with the balance, though, it's not necessarily because of how it's not actually about how good things are. It's actually more about community perception. This is where it gets really difficult. And I think, is this true? I think this is more true in PvE because you have I think the PvP, oh no, I'm not sure if I would even say this. I was going to say that I think the PvP scene has a better understanding of the game than the PvE scene, but then, I mean, I've played ranked, so I don't think I can actually agree with that. But there is a very... The actual disconnect between how good something is and the community's perception of how good something is absolutely like gulfs apart. It's like light years apart, right? For example, okay, people consider stuff like Heal Firebrand useless because it doesn't provide any offensive buffs. Okay, now that is an incredibly foolish thing to say.
Somebody wrote that on my YouTube video, actually.
Yes. Oof.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I was going to quote you. I was going to say, I was literally in a raid with Teapot when he showed me this class. It's so good. What do you mean?
Yeah.
How can you say that?
Yeah. It's so difficult. Like, the PvE scene. And I say this to Broadrix and like the Guild Wars 2 community in general. Like, it does not understand the game perhaps as well as is needed to actually make judgment calls about what is good and what is not. And when it comes to efficiency, a lot of groups really insist on running these really aggressive compositions, right? Like really, really aggressive, big DPS, optimized comps, and then they die, right? And where in reality they'd be better off playing some like super, super easy, cheesy stuff, right? Like, and there's still this idea that Scourge is a low DPS class, right? Or this class is a low DPS class. Now, this is often true if played correctly, right? You know, if I'm on my Scourge and someone's playing, say, Renegade, yeah, they're gonna if they're playing right, they'll beat me. Okay, usually they're not playing well enough to beat me, but you know if they played correctly, they would absolutely beat me. For example, let's say if Frosty came back to the game, I would really struggle to keep up with him on his Renegade because he's an excellent Renegade on my Scourge. But honestly, I beat probably 95% of Renegades on my Scourge, like maybe even more than that actually. And honestly, Scourge has some loads of other stuff with it. Like it's this interesting approach to balance that the Guild Wars 2 community has, right? Okay, like they think that damage is the only thing that has value and utility is worthless, right? And they think that Scourge needs to do as much damage as Mirage, otherwise Scourge is terrible. Where in reality, that's an incredibly foolish thing to say because Scourge does damage, but it also it's unkillable. And it's got barrier, it's got some stability, and it has epidemic, right? It's not just about like the damage output. It's like I think it really is obvious when you look at stuff like PvP, to be honest, right? And like every class has its advantages and disadvantages, right? Like if you're say choosing between a Revenant and a Hollow, like they're both, you use them very strong for the team fights, right? But they do different things in the team fight, right? And the same thing is true for PvE. Like a great example of this is actually a new boss in Wing 7, Cardinal Adina, right? This boss is pretty easy, but if you don't have stability and reflects, you could actually die very easily, especially on challenge mode difficulty, because if you get knocked around or you don't reflect, you can die incredibly quickly. Now, this is the perfect boss for a Heal Firebrand. Oh yeah, because you can completely shut down a massive amount of the entire fight, right? Just by using stability and reflex and Aegis, right? And so a class that is people considered to be bad is actually incredibly good on this fight as well. And it's good everywhere as well, though. Like Heal Firebrand is value everywhere. Even Scrapper, like Xeberneth was talking about how Scrapper, it doesn't really see a lot of play. It's surprisingly good. It's not the most exciting class in the world to play, but Heal Scrapper is actually pretty good. It's underrated, really underrated. It's probably okay. Now this is going to sound like a meme, okay, but this happens more than you might think in raids. If you are standing still, okay, and your entire group is stacked, Heal Scrapper is maybe one of the best healers in the game, actually. Like maybe even the best healer. If you're stacked and you're just standing still, when it comes to sustain healing and healing people who aren't moving, it's actually insanely good. It's unbelievably powerful is how good this build is. And the same is true for something like Heal Ellie, even Heal Renegade. Like Heal Renegade is probably my least favorite healer. I just don't like playing it really. But even that build is probably criminally underrated, actually. Because you know what? Doesn't do enough damage. So it's trash. Ugh. And that's why we see some problems in the PvE meta. Not necessarily because it's imbalanced. It's because people just don't really understand what's going on there, and I suppose we've got to educate, right? That's what we're here on TeaTime, the big minds, the big brains.
You mean you need to educate people about how to play the game and what their classes do and how their
what
mechanics
other
are.
classes do. They don't know, right, that Scrapper is good and Firebrand is good. But at the same time, I'm kind of lost in this rant because right now, when you look at the pug groups in raids, most of them, at least 50% for sure, are looking for one druid and one healer. I mean, yes, maybe it was valid like I don't know, a month ago, maybe even 2 months ago, when like double druid was the thing to go. But after the recent nerf, like right after that, maybe even a little bit before the druid nerf, the glyph of empowerment will forever be in our minds and hearts. But people are like actively looking for healing scourges. People are actively looking for healing firebrands. People are okay with the a healing scrapper joined. Well, okay, as long as it's an appropriate fight, I guess. You see people playing actual like healing tempests. I do not really see that many healing renegades or heralds, sadly, even though it's also a great choice. You see healing thieves, like they actually started exploring boon thieves on the ties.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh man, so we won. We won. There you go.
So it's progressing.
There you go. I like it. See, there you have it. That's a good thing. So there you, Xeberneth in the field reporting to us. Field reporter. I like that. I'm very glad to hear that.
You need to pug even more to see that it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's still abysmal, but definitely not in terms of the team comps. Like people, even if we're talking about DPS, I don't know. Like whenever I see a person saying that, I can't find a group as a Reaper, I
suppose I'm a little.
I see so many of them right now.
Yeah. Reaper.
Many of them are criminally bad, and I'm really sad. Like they are the reason why people still think that Reaper is bad, because people can't play it.
It's true. It's true.
It's so sad.
Yeah, I'm very glad to hear that. I suppose I am a little bit biased from what I see in every now and again, someone will say, hey, look what's being said in this community Discord or here on the forums or here on Reddit. And I go, oh, man. So I guess I am kind of cherry picking a few like bad apples here.
You know what they say about like the vocal minorities? I think this is exactly the situation.
I think you're absolutely right there. So yeah, dude, I fucking lost this debate, dude. What the fuck? Oh my God. This is terrible.
You want to be grumpy, but in fact, like it's actually becoming better and better. The problem is it's as boring as ever before.
Oh my God.
Very sad.
Wow, ouch.
I think the next step is actually like people realizing that Mirage is finally like not the only. They really need that push of at least a little bit of a nerf to Mirage, so people actually start exploring like Condi Weavers, Condi Hollows, Condi Firebrands. Granted, I must say myself that I find so little motivation to actually learn anything new when it comes to this game right now. Like, why would I bother if I can play Scourge and Mirage? I don't need anything else, right? But I think that's the next step we should take as a raiding community, to actually stop accepting more Condi DPS. Problem with them is that for some reason they will never be optimal, and because SC will never say that they're optimal because there's extra toughness involved in quickness, from quickness to Firebrand and in Weave Self to Weaver. I think maybe that can be reworked. Maybe that will be enough to actually make them a little bit better. Because the C will start talking about them, because suddenly, Firebrand doesn't have extra toughness and also it does amazing DPS. Hey, maybe try it out, guys.
The extra toughness is kind of funky because of how a lot of the bosses work right on the Firebrand. Like the 250 toughness is a bit odd.
Yeah, I mean, also what is interesting, I guess Renegade doesn't have that problem because it's meta only on one boss, and on Doom everyone is ready to, I need like plus 100 toughness because we have a Renegade. That's like very well known. But whenever you get a Condi Weaver, or I guess Firebrand in the group where on a boss where you actually need toughness tanking, people just tend to forget, right? That's why.
Yeah, then the aggro is still on.
Yeah.
I love it when the boss just randomly swaps targets midway. In fact, I particularly enjoy it when the Firebrand uses the extra toughness ability on the third tome and like randomly swaps the aggro halfway through. That's my favorite, actually. That is what I really enjoy, actually. That's some good shit right there. I don't know. So yeah, PvE is pretty good. Yeah, it's good meta.
If only
right?
had more content, right?
Yes, if only we did have more content. And,
1 raid per 9 months.
Well, that's you know.
Let's just go with 1 raid per year. I mean, what do we have to lose at this point?
Finished in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's an interesting one. I mean, I don't even know if there's a new raid coming. Of course, ArenaNet has not given us any word on that, or any updates on that sort of thing. I'm not surprised, but
I talked to Mike O'Brien this weekend, and he said you're definitely getting a raid.
Oh, really? Okay,
So,
nice.
That's good. Don't worry about it. You get one in a couple months, couple 9, 12, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't know if that's serious or not. Is that like
me and Mike are tight, so we talk to each other all the time.
Okay,
go to his house in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah,
So just wait. 9 months, you'll get another raid.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
yeah, that's good. I do like that. It's better late than never, as you say. The real question is though, is how alive will the raid scene be by the time that actually comes around, right? Like, one thing that I can actually be a little bit depressed about is that I felt maybe I'm wrong here again, okay? Because I'm only really looking at like the LFG in my own raid community, I guess, but it just feels like Wing 7, it just didn't hype people, I wasn't feeling the energy, wasn't feeling the excitement of Wing 7. I mean, I liked it; it was really good, but just feels
it's a lot like Living World, right?
Didn't really bring people back, or it didn't really get people stuck. It didn't get them hooked on the game again. Like they did it, and then they logged out again.
I almost feel like it's been more of a detriment to the Guild Wars 2 community with that raid release than it has been a positive thing, because I think a lot of people were putting their eggs in one basket and thinking, oh shit, like if this raid scene really is really great this time, if this wing is just like incredible, then maybe I can come back and enjoy the game. But if they've come back and they've seen that the raid has been cleared in an hour and a half, do they actually have the time and the effort to farm that same raid wing for another 9 months before they get something of equal magnitude? You know what I mean? Like, if I was a raider and I was raiding all the time, and I'd been waiting almost a year for a raid wing, and it was done like that, and it was fun, but there was no point in doing it, no point in farming it, no point in anything, I don't think I would stick around. And if I was somebody who was invested in raids from another game and I saw that the content was that easy, I don't think that I would invest myself into that either. I feel like having content that easy is a detriment to Guild Wars 2 for both the competitive and the casual raiding market of Guild Wars 2. But that I might, again, might be a biased opinion. I like Mythic raiding on WoW. I don't really see the.
Unfortunately, I think the majority of the raiding community, who, by the way, is not watching right now, to them, while this is easier than other wings, I don't think they clear it in an hour and a half. Do you know what I mean? Some of them are still clearing it, or have cleared it once maybe, but are working on CM still.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for EU, but I know on NA, a lot of the NA guilds are just small static groups who casually clear the raid content every week, or casually work on raid. There's still a lot of them who haven't killed Doom, for example. So, I don't know that they're necessarily clearing it in an hour and a half like Teapot or Snow Crows or
no. It's just like that's how it was done competitively when it was first released.
Sure,
it was done.
Yeah.
Very
And I last week I totally talked about my huge disappointment with that as a viewer. But I think the majority of the raid scene are just these small, casual, static guilds that clear this content, or even pugs, even pug groups that do it and get the kills, winning where they can. I mean, 9 months is still far too long, but I mean, like a lot of Guild Wars 2, a lot of things in Guild Wars 2, the majority of the player base is just never heard from. They don't follow Reddit. They don't follow Twitter. They don't know Friendship Month is going on or whatever. Like they just log in to casually play the game and clear content when it comes out and buy crap off the gem store, which is good for ArenaNet, because if they really pay attention, the player base will probably be way smaller than it is.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually. They avoid a lot of the bad mouthing, the negativity, because they don't see it.
Yeah. Feels bad, man. Yeah, it's raids are they're in a funny old spot. They are in a funny old spot right now. some statistics came out. Are we really interested to see how many people actually beat this raid? I would love if ArenaNet would actually hit us with this, right? Like how many people actually beat the raids. It's very unlikely, but I wish they would. I wish we could know the truth about how many people actually interact with the raids and if they're worth doing, or if they have any plans really with regards to those. I think it's really important that there is communication between the player base and the developers at this point, because I think we said this on the previous TeaTime or the previous TeaTime, but the trouble with the Wing 7, in my opinion, is that it's a bit too difficult for the majority of the Guild Wars 2 community, and it's too easy for the raid community, right? Like it's this weird middle ground that isn't really satisfying for anyone, I think. It's too, it's still going to be almost impossible for a lot of the casual players in Guild Wars 2, but for the more veteran, more hardcore players, it's kind of a joke, right? It's very, very easy, and a lot of them mechanics don't actually matter that much. It's a bit odd. And that's why you need difficulty settings, and that's why you need easy mode. That's exactly right, Matt. Okay, easy mode, yeah. Make it happen. Let's not do that one today. Okay, the easy mode debate. We do that far too often. Yeah, I don't know. And to be honest, it's a bit pointless, really. I mean, a lot of whenever I talk about this sort of stuff, I'm like, why am I even saying this? It's not going to change anything. Okay, it's well,
wait, it's splitting the community. You're not getting it. You aren't?
Yeah. I know, I'm not. What do you think of? I actually don't know. What is your take on easy mode, Xeberneth? I actually don't know your take on easy mode.
I think I would probably like it. I think that it doesn't really have a chance, I guess, realistically. They will not implement it. And I think it was made clear. Splitting the community is bad. No. But I think it definitely could help. Because I guess many people are just afraid of getting into raids. And I also see a lot of people who are saying that they want to get into raids, but they also don't want to commit to any raid statics or raid training guilds. Like, training, no, hard, scary people. Which is pretty funny. I guess maybe if they tried to get into mechanics on an easy mode, they would be more confident in getting to actual guilds after that. Training guilds for normal modes, CMs, maybe. But at the same time, I also don't think that it will cause any split in the community, because people who are already doing normal modes will most likely either not do easy modes at all, right? So they will stay where they are, or they will be doing them to help. The people who will be doing easy modes are people who most likely didn't do raids ever before. So you're bringing more people to the raiding community, right? And some of them will meet people who are already experienced in raiding, which is good, right? We're not splitting anyone. We're just bringing new blood to the raids.
Yes.
As long as, I guess, we don't anger the actual, not even hardcore players, but the experienced players with offering like very easy rewards for the easy mode. Some rewards, definitely. So there's at least some incentive to get into there. Maybe like I don't know. However, like right now we're getting unidentified gear from raids.
Yeah.
Just give that as well. Like it actually doesn't make any difference. Don't give a scented. Just give the same unidentified gear.
Okay. Is it correct that you actually want it? You think ArenaNet did this intentionally, don't you?
I mean, to be fair, they obviously didn't intentionally not to hurt anyone, but I don't think that they were like, I don't really realize what I'm doing. I will just press this button and this button, and oops, the actual loot from raids that you can make money on is gone. Of course, it wasn't like that. But I wonder if they even realized what was the goddamn reasoning behind it, because it either seems absolutely random, they just, I don't know, they flipped a coin and we're like, we need to do some random shit to raise right now. Oh, let's delete the loot boxes. Amazing.
So for those who don't know, what happened is that for every boss and every little event, right, you got some champion bags and some bags of gear. Now, these were, they seem useless. Like, wow, what? Oh, champ bags, amazing. Oh, some bags of gear, some greens. Whoa. Oh, the loot is insane. Well, it turns out that if you open those up on a low-level character, you could actually make a lot of gold by salvaging them and getting out the materials.
Well, to be fair, it's not a lot. It's just like barely enough to cover your own food, right? Like you will get maybe a little bit of profit. And the thing is, I've heard like Nova was telling me that maybe they don't like the fact that we're opening bags on low-level characters, and that actually made me angry. Not at Nova, but if that actually is the case, when are you deleting Silver Wastes, ArenaNet? Why is it still existing?
Oh shit, that's a big expose. That's a big expose right there.
That actually doesn't make any difference, to be honest. Nobody really did raids just to get those bags, but it was kind of nice, right? You felt like you were getting at least something from them, even if you got 0 ascended for 4th week in a row. But now it also felt like absolutely on the Wing 7 release, here you go, a raid, but we also will take away your gold.
Feels bad, man. Yeah, it sucks, right? I mean, it perhaps wasn't malicious. They were like, follow those raiders. We're gonna get them good, dude.
No, I don't think it was malicious, but very random.
Yeah. Well, I think they just went, we're going to streamline the loot. It's going to be so convenient. Yeah.
I literally just don't even think they thought about it. They were just like implemented across the board and good enough.
But what was why? I understand that they kind of wanted to make sure that the people who did the boss are still getting the loot. Even if they didn't get the chest, because Pepega's like me, we just forget to loot the goddamn statue. Oh no, like my loot, it's gone if I relog. So they make a chest, right? So you get the reward chest in the bottom of your screen, right? So you can just click it, and oh my god, very nice. But why exactly did they not leave the bags as bags in the statue? Like, they could have even that would be less effort. They didn't have to actually change. It's a mystery that I would like to uncover. There's no way. We don't know. We will never know. We lack the critical information.
Just about to say, we lack the critical information, dude. Yeah. It would be nice to see a reversal on that, or indeed just a buff. Just make the rewards a lot better, right? For repeating the raids,
Like I said, I think it's just a total oversight in the sense that they decided game-wide we're going to replace unidentified gear with all the other rewards you used to get. And now everybody gets unidentified gear, which is really a total nerf to all the loot you used to get. Because it's number one, it's not affected by Magic Find. And number two, like you said, opening on a lower level character actually gives you better, could give you better or more useful materials that aren't farmed as well because everybody's level 80. So I think on one level, it's a conscious decision to replace all the loot. I just don't think they thought about the raid and just said, just replace it game wide. Who cares? And it turns out it nerfed raiding harder than some of the other aspects of the game.
I hate it because I have to open all the bags now.
Yeah,
salvaging. I have to open every single one, and then because I don't have a big enough inventory space, I have to open it partially, then close my inventory so I don't get that pop-up window where it's like, you've run out of inventory space. So you just got to do it quickly before then manually salvage or, auto salvage until you get to the point where the bags are being opened again. Then you you close your inventory, open it back up again, repeat the process, until you've done all 200 bags. It's one of the most aggravating things because I don't want to miss a precursor, dude. I want my precursor. So if there's a precursor in one of those bags, I'm not taking a fucking chance and salvaging it by accident. So it's the most fucking frustrating situation. Why is that even in the game? They can at least make it so that if you open all of the bags, it salvages, it gives you an option where it salvages only the loot, not the bags themselves. You have to open the bags to salvage them or something.
It is weird.
There's already a Joe. You just put your unidentified gear into the shared inventory slot, which please buy from our gem store. And you see, they don't get salvaged easy.
Dude, I swear to God, I have 4, maybe 3 shared inventory slots. I don't need those. I'm a PvP. What do I need?
Why are you buying that shit?
So I salvage normally.
You gotta put your little. You can put the PvP titles in there, right?
No. The only thing I need to share is my own stupidity, and that's across all my characters already. So I don't. I don't need that.
Wow.
Shit, man.
We need to.
Fucking hell.
Feels bad, man. That's not very.
By the way, it gives you so much loot that you need to buy extra bag slots because your character will constantly be full.
Yeah, it's good. Just keep keeps spamming that shit.
Just watch Teapot play the game. His inventory is always full of garbage.
Well, I mean that's because I've just got too much gear. I need to get on that legendary armor, man. That's what I need. I need to get on that legendary armor.
Wait, you don't have it already?
I mean, I do, but I think is I'm really lazy. So instead of using legendary armor, I just craft more ascended sets.
You don't even need to craft them. You just you open some boxes.
Exactly, I open boxes. That's how lazy I am. I'm the laziest player in all of Guild Wars 2, and that's actually real. I don't even know how many ascended sets I have. I have too many, far too many. Okay, it's out of control at this point. I mean, just to do the 100i, I just crafted a minstrel set for my Necro. So yeah, minstrel scourge. It's like the next level, dude. I have transcended. I've gone even further than possible. But that's what you got to do for 100i, guys. Okay, like I'll do anything for 100i. Yeah, I even use the candy corn. Well, yeah, I mean I don't do it.
How does it feel to actually not get 100i? You only got I-99. It was all for nothing, apparently.
Oh my god, it feels terrible. Actually, I don't know. I do feel cheated. I should have seen it coming though, because I was even predicting. I was like, yeah, dude, the buff will only stack to 99, right? Because it's just how it's just an interesting like side effect of how the game is coded, I guess. It's the buffs.
What would you have done if it hit 100?
Well, I would probably have stopped there. Like I was really hoping it stopped. I was like, please stop, because otherwise it's not
gone for 101.
Well,
not 102.
It's not satisfying though, right? If it's actually infinite, you literally cannot beat it, right? Like it cannot be done. You cannot beat it. The fact that I can beat it's like, oh yeah, nice, very good. I don't mind. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have had a problem with it if it was actually infinite, I suppose, because then you can kind of, well, actually no, I would, right? Because you can't reset and keep trying to push on, right? I want it to be non-infinite. Like if you could like say, okay, we can restart at 80 and then we can push on, right? Like suppose if you get to 98, you can start again at 90 and keep pushing. Then it's okay if it's infinite, I think. But because you have to go all the way from 1, and if we wanted to go any higher than 99 or 100, for example, it would take us 5 hours just to get back where we started, right? So yeah, you can't. That is obviously
you were
terrible.
still live at like 1 a.m., weren't you?
Like, yeah. It was dedication.
It
was dedication. And it takes a while, right? Now, in theory, you can hold the instance. I could have left my character there forever, and kept that instance up. And well, yeah, I could have done that, and probably not the best idea, but it could have been done. But yeah, I don't know. It really depends on how it goes. Really, if it's okay with being infinite. So I guess it's good. I was really happy that we managed to do that. Though. Feels good, man. Yeah, I was. It was rough actually, because when we got to 85, last time it was like really difficult. It was really difficult to be PMA. Right? I was like, dude, we're fucking trash. We're dog shit, right? We didn't even get like 100i. Like, what is that? We didn't even get I-100. Like, we're terrible at the game, So, but then we did it. Then we did 199. Feels good, man. Yeah, there you go. We beat it.
Actually, are there any other, I don't know, parties, collectives who are at least trying to, do something similar? Because I don't know. I know it's really stupid, and we probably really like demotivated a bunch of people who might have actually even been considering doing something like that. But imagine how cool it would be if the community was interested in the challenge itself enough to try and get as high as they can.
The leaderboard, dude, a leaderboard.
Because I'm personally very bad at being the part of the community, but I don't think I have seen any like tweets or YouTube videos or Reddit posts with, oh guys, we got to wave, I don't know, let's go somewhere like in the middle ground, 42, we got to the wave 57, anything like that. Nothing. I think that, like, it's so sad.
It is a bit
could have been
depressing.
So good. I actually feel so depressed about all the wasted potential that is the Dragon Arena survival.
I think if you could save your progress somehow, say every 10 rounds, if it gave you something for doing it, you would certainly see more. You would see more people going for it. But as it stands, I think I guess we're probably one of the very few groups actually going for it. And well, I just don't think that. I'm not sure I can entirely blame ArenaNet, because they probably weren't expecting anyone would do that, right? Because it doesn't actually give you anything. In fact, it stops rewarding you, right? Like the only reason you would ever do that. Well, yeah, because it takes longer and longer to kill it, right?
Well, I mean, per se, it doesn't ever really stop rewarding you. You still progress through the achievement of, the full
3,
rotation of 5 mobs. Like, yeah, you get the 3 coffers, but it's basically like,
yeah.
What's the point of that?
It starts taking so long, right? That it's not. It's more efficient to just restart it, right? Like you beat it once and restart it, you'll be quicker because the bosses just have way less health and just don't do any damage earlier on. So yeah. That's
and I see that people are saying that there are no rewards, so after 50 we got just bored.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly
Imagine
right.
just, I don't know, a leaderboard, anything, like... So sad.
Well, and really, after 20, there's no achievements, right? All you got to do is get to 20, and then you
only have to get to 10, actually, I think.
Yeah, 10 is...
There was an achievement for the eye on the 10 stacks.
Eye? Okay,
and
so...
to be completely fair, I've seen people, like, almost wiping in 5 stacks, so I understand, so maybe ArenaNet did everything right, like...
right,
but
my point is, once people do get that achievement of 10, they're kind of like, well, I did it. What's the point in pushing any further, right?
Well,
so
obviously, not many people are actually interested in the challenge for the challenge.
Well, here's an interesting thing, though. If they had a leaderboard, like you guys are saying, the Pinata Challenge, the adventure, you only need to get 19 to get gold. But there's a couple of videos and people out there who get all 29 of them, which takes, quite a bit of doing.
I actually didn't realize
the leaderboard.
Sorry.
They do it because it's the leaderboard, because there's a cap to it, and etc. Right? So if you have those things, then you'll have people like Teapot who go all the way to 99 just to say, hey, I'm number 1, or we're number 1 on the list,
ArenaNet don't like that.
But they have adventures that have it, like... I don't know.
They have so many. I actually never thought about how many leaderboards for adventures we have right now. Granted, people rarely actually care about them, but they are they're in HOT maps. They're in festivals. Like,
this
why
is one
isn't
of the,
it here?
It's one of the biggest issues I have with ArenaNet, and I made this this comparison or this discovery public a while ago. It's that ArenaNet don't really know what they want. They don't know what they are. They don't know what they identify as. They don't know if they cater to creating challenging content, or if they want to have a good combat system or a shit one, or if they want things to be elitist or casual, or if they want to have like all these different systems that go to and apply to loads of different communities. They want all of them in, but they can't put themselves into a certain niche because they don't exist within one. So like they have leaderboards for adventures, but they don't have leaderboards for other things. They don't like elitism, but they'll give you opportunities to create your own elitism with things like kill proofs that they're not necessarily that they could be put into achievements or some shit. Like they just do not know what they want. So then you've got like fucking Teapot who wants like really hard raids and also wants an easy mode, but ArenaNet are like, if we put an easy mode in, like, is that gonna work? Like, oh fuck, what do we do? They're just so confused. They're confused. They're always confused. All right. Any truers? No, just me. All right.
No, it's definitely a true.
I wonder if the ArenaNet, as in like the developers, are confused. Like, I always feel really weird whenever like I am or anyone else are bashing ArenaNet, because in the end I understand that, hey, there are so many amazing developers, but at the same time, like when you think, okay, is that just upper management thinking like, oh, we hardcore people, nah, casuals, yeah, gem store, yes, content, no, like content gaming industry is like. You really want to show that you appreciate the work of the developers, but at the same time, where are we going?
Like their content is so good. They've got so many good developers. They've got like really good visuals. The infusions, the gizmos, like everything that they've put into the game is actually fucking fantastic. I think the mounts have been great. I think that they've been so innovative as far as like the mount development has gone. And when they first released the mounts, I was like, oh shit, wow, they actually do stuff. Like, cool. That's actually really, really like unique to MMOs in general and like RPGs in general. So like they've proven that they have this like decent development structure, that they can come up with these really good things, but they just don't they don't put it into like this finite labeling or at least enable all these different areas where they could spread those development resources. What they've done is they put all their eggs in one basket, which is the living world, which sometimes has a mount in it. So they get people hyped up about like a bit of a story. You get a mount. Oh, but here's a 2,000 gem store skin for your mount that like fucking makes it glow and shit. And why? Just can we put like those developers into like PvP and make PvP amazing and put it in World v World and make World v World amazing? Like, can we fuck off with the living story? I'm sick of it, man. I want to kill Timey. I hate Timey. Yeah. All right, Timey should die. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't like that it feels to me that they put like 70% of their development resource into Timey, you know, and into a mount. But they don't actually enable PvP or World v World or what the community actually asks for. They just keep doing this like living story crap. You know? I'm so sick of it, dude. Like,
I think this is where we could really use some really meaningful communication. What you were talking about there, and you know what was Xeberneth saying there as well, is like the lack of identity, like the lack of what is going on, right? I would love to know what ArenaNet wants. Okay, like what do they want Guild Wars 2 to be? Right, like because to be honest, I think, does anyone here know? Does anyone in the chat actually know what they want? Like, where do they want the game to go? Like, do they want it to be
your money,
like full casual? Do they really just want our money? Is that really all it is? Like, I feel like I just don't know. I don't know, dude. Like, we lack the critical information about this
ArenaNet.
stuff.
I love you. Okay, it's Dragon Bash, not ArenaNet Bash. I love you, ArenaNet. Don't.
No, I'm not trying to bash on ArenaNet, by the way.
They want your money, Teapot. Give it to them. Give them. Buy more Black Lion keys.
Jaw is going in on ArenaNet. He wants to get unpartnered.
I just want to make sure that it's. I'm not bashing on ArenaNet. I just want them to actually give other elements of the game opportunity, because that will grow the community. If they keep putting all their eggs in one basket, all they're going to have left is that community. The community that loves the living world, that logs in once every fucking 3 months for a little taste of living world and nothing else. Like, PvP is played every single day. World v World is played every single day. And it operates even with the worst balance that they've got going. But people still make it work, right? People create their own, like, elitism structures within, like, PvE and the raids and shit, so that they can, you know, have some kind of leaderboard themselves. Or, like, you know, like SC is, like, one of the best. Like, you run the ERP. Who wins the ERP? Well, they must be probably the best game that... the best guild that raids. Like, people are taking their own initiative, whereas ArenaNet are just fucking like pieing them off and saying, well, we think Timey needs a new hat and all this shit, and that's going to take 3 weeks of development. Like, we just want more. Like, give more to other people, to other areas of the game, and see it flourish, instead of this constant like reward or release structure that is living world. Oh, what are we doing with the next set of release patterns? Well, Living Story 5. Like, nobody wants it. Yeah. Like, give me an expansion. Give me an elite spec. Give me new maps. Give me fucking anything but Living World, dude, please. I'm becoming big.
Yeah. Jaws a snake, dude. Jaws a snake right here, man.
Well, to be fair, I don't know. Those are just speculations. Like, Wolfric is supporting that theory the most in Twitch chats, as far as I've seen. What if, in theory, in the perfect future, we get that Living World Season 5, and it's a bridge to, you know, to the new expansion. We need to forget about dragons, and we need to start doing something else. It's kind of hard to jump into something else after we got absolutely, like, we ended this season on a dead end. There is actually nowhere to go after this. You know, the story has ended. You can't really, I guess you can launch an expansion and have the start of a new story incorporated into that, but I think they're kind of, I guess they don't have enough time, or I don't know, maybe, yeah, I guess they don't have enough time to do that. So maybe they have the Living World Season 5 to actually connect those two and get themselves a bit more time to actually maybe, you know, hopefully get a new expansion to us. Just maybe. Hopefully.
What was the release schedule? Sorry, but between HOT and POF, that was 2 years, right? And it was a September to September.
Yeah, about
something
that.
along
about
those
that,
lines.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 2015 to 2017, right?
Yeah.
We are in July, or almost June, almost July of 2019. Like, do we foresee anything like, where the fuck is my expansion trailer?
Joe, you're forgetting what happened just like about I don't know how many months ago.
I
know,
know,
3, 4.
I
I think the
know.
plans have changed, and that's the problem, right?
I don't think they were ever planning on releasing an expansion in this year. They were never. That was never on the cards. Ever.
Well, this year, no. That's why they need the Living
as the
World
bridge.
Season 5 to actually okay, we release this, and I don't know, we have 3 people working on this Living World.
The layoffs happened before they'd even announced that. The layoffs happened in the middle before they'd even decided they were doing that, right? After they decided they were doing that, because they came to the conclusion that they were going to do the Living World Season 5 instead of an expansion, and then the layoffs came halfway through that, right? And the question is, why did the layoffs came from NCSoft, right, from above? It was top down, whatever. They didn't know it was happening. But why have they chosen to go with this Living World season structure instead of actually coming up with a new storyline that's completely related to this expansion sort of ideal that people buy expansions for character growth or a completely new experience outside of the game that they've been playing already, and it's still the same game, but it's a new experience, right?
Yep.
Why haven't they brought in get us hyped up for say, I don't know, Cantha or something, or whatever? The whole ideal, right, of them doing this Living Story Season 5 crap, it just makes me think, okay, so we're gonna have episodes coming every 3 months. It's gonna be 3-month downtime of drought of content, and we're just gonna be in this fucking non-stop cycle instead of giving us an expansion in September 2019 where we all get to embrace new raids, new dungeons, new this, new that, new everything in one quick format that's just handed to us, and we go and explore, and we kill the next year doing that expansion content, as opposed to this constant 3-month drought. I'm not ready for it, dude. I don't think anybody's ready to just be completely disappointed 3 months at a time.
Do you want the answer?
Money.
Well, no, the answer is the reason that they had announced Season 5 and that's their plans, and we're not getting an expansion this year, is because it's highly likely that they were planning on releasing Project XYZ instead. So Secret Project whatever was more likely to launch probably 2019, early 2020. And therefore, Guild Wars 2 expansion at the same time is not something they're capable of doing. Therefore, it gets pushed back another year, and instead, we have Skeleton Crew ArenaNet running Living Story nonsense. And we're just starting to see a little bit of them trying to fill the gaps now, because those projects are now at least on hold permanently. Not that they can't be revived, but you're not going to see them anytime soon. So now we're getting festivals. They did 4 Winds last year. We got Holbrecht Smash this year. And they're doing those events in between. We got a World vs. World event coming up. We got Boss event, whatever. And those things are probably fairly easy for ArenaNet to gather enough resources together to help tide over these gaps that you're going to be waiting for. Even Season 5, probably another couple of months.
But the thing
that's
is,
just the
there's
start.
something we are forgetting about, by the way. They gave us a roadmap with a bunch of stuff that is mainly just quality of life, but at the same time, they mentioned some stuff that actually might eat the playtime, right? Like legendary runes and sigils. Grind for that. They will probably have something besides the Living World, sure. I know that, okay, if we're being realistic, raids, definitely not. Hopefully, more World versus World events. Maybe there will be some PvP is sad, but only balance.
We've had a whole year. We've had a whole year of Living World Season 4 or whatever, right? Did we have anything in between those months? I remember literally getting that shit.
During that though, the game was on maintenance mode, right?
Yeah.
Cool,
now
so now
supposedly all hands on Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
Is it amazing?
Yeah, is it though?
Yeah. Apparently, that's what they say.
To be PMA
I don't see any changes. I don't see any changes.
You won't realistically. You won't see any changes until episode 2 at least, though.
Most likely,
right? Because the way they develop is that they're kind of 2 in the future, right? Because they have 3 teams, right? So by the time that episode 6 is shipped, two teams have already basically nearly done a lot of work on episodes 1 and 2 of season 5. Right, so you won't see any difference in the actual content for quite a while. I imagine they'll polish up episodes 1 and 2 a little bit, but realistically, before you actually start to see any major changes, you're probably looking like at least probably 6 months before you actually start to see anything. I definitely argue that the event thing probably wouldn't have happened without the unfortunate layoff stuff, right? That that all this focus on having new events, for keeping players constantly engaged with Guild Wars 2 is this is because of the layoffs here. But I've also got to say one thing, guys. You're talking about expansions. Like, there's absolutely no way they have anything on an expansion right now. Like, I don't even know if they were gonna do one, right? It's entirely possible that it was just like, okay, we're gonna do Living Story season 5, right? We're just gonna keep that going, then we're gonna release our new IP, right? So are they going to do one now? I think that's likely, right? I think we will see an expansion, but I think they are probably starting work on it now, if anything, right? It's not like they've got anything on it. I don't think there was ever going to be an expansion, before the plans change. Before the plans change, yes.
Transparency, dude. I want them to tell me. I even if it means that somebody in the office just goes, "We're working on it," and then everyone goes, "All right, shit. Well, fuck me. I'll wait for that shit. Oh, I can kill another year. I can just get my character, keep my character up, keep logging in, whatever. We're gonna get an expansion, right?" But we don't know. We don't know anything, and we've been arguing. But there has been transparency since the layoffs. They have been more transparent. They've given us more information. They gave us the roadmap. They did a lot of things they weren't doing before, but they could just say, we have started work on it. They don't need to give us a trailer. They don't need to fucking do anything else. They don't need to lube us up. Just tell me that there is an expansion coming or that there is a new IP. Don't have to say what the name is. I don't know. Maybe that's asking too much. Maybe a new IP thing is it's too much. But if they are working on another expansion, just fucking say it. Just let me know. Just let me know that it's coming, and I will wait, and I'll be happy, and I'll make sure that I keep up to date with ArenaNet's doings and Guild Wars 2 and all that shit, and I'll try and stay as much involved as I can so that I can get prepared for that expansion. But if I don't know it's coming, I'm more likely to just fucking drop off the face of the earth and never come back, because I don't know that it's happening. And then I'll find out there was an expansion, fucking whenever, and it's too late then. They gotta keep people in the loop.
Nice. And a lot of games do this, by the way. I think it would be nice to have just a chat once a month with, ArenaNet can use their guild chat show, where they just say, hey, look, we're still working on alliances. We are going to make more raids. Like, they don't have to give you specifics, but just say, we're putting resources into this. This is what's happening for structured PvP in the future. This is what's happening for Living World. Like, yeah, obviously we know season 5 is coming, but they could just say, hey, season 5 is still coming. We've got a lot of events that we're going to wrap into that. And they kind of have said that, but we don't really know the state of fractals. We don't really know the state of raids. So we're making a lot of assumptions there. We have this World vs. World event coming up. There's whispers that they want to do a structured PvP type event. What that could entail, who knows? But if they could just communicate this at least once a month to the community, I think that would really alleviate and help things quite a bit from the weekly shows that we do here on TeaTime. Because if you're a content creator that does news hits or whatever for Guild Wars 2, you've had a really bad time since Heart of Thorns, because the news has been slim for years. So a little bit more would be nice.
I think a little bit more, but it needs to be more direct, I think, is the most important thing.
Right, yeah, direct at...
ArenaNet is very timid when it comes to communication, right? They like to play the cards close to the chest. I think they just need to go in hard, right, and just lay the cards on the table. Really, I just wish, in a way, that ArenaNet would basically tell me to fuck off. But because then I could be free, right? Then at least I would know. As it stands right now, I kind of feel like ArenaNet's kind of giving me some vibes, shoo, get out of here, right? But
So,
I wish
do
they
you
just straight up hit
feel-
me with it, right? You know what I mean? Just hit me, just tell me, like, yeah. I want them just to say, like, Teapot, your money, it's great, okay, but thanks, but no thanks, right? That's what I want to hear,
Do you feel, Teapot, like the world structured PvP players did back in was that Heart of Thorns when they did the last one and they didn't really tell anything to them for months and months and months, and then it just dissolved into nothing?
What you mean? What Pro League?
Pro League, Pro World League, whatever the heck it was called.
When they just didn't say anything, and oh, yep, it's gone. Yeah.
The players literally kept asking, and most of the players, by the way, were partners. The top level players, Rom and all them were partners. They just didn't tell anything to them for months and months, and then it just quietly dissolved off into the dust, into the wind, and was no more, right?
Yeah. That is kind of how it feels. Right? They kind of keep you on the hook, right? And they give a little tug. They give a little tug on the hook every now and again, right? But then it's like, what should I be doing? Like, should we be getting the hell out of here or not, right? It just seems like ArenaNet kind of with the Heroes of the Storm shit, right? Then they just they put they hard maintenance modes, right? And then got rid of all the esports stuff, right? It's and they're tugging me all around. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. It just seems like I'm not entirely certain if ArenaNet are really even interested in catering to a lot of these players. Like you could attribute malice if you want. I don't think it's malice. It's more like it's like the silence is there because they don't really want people to quit. But at the same time, like you have, as Jaw said a long time ago, right, on this tea time, you have the world versus world community is like insanely loyal, right? If you actually think about these guys, and PvP as well, like they're absurdly loyal to the fucking game. Okay, like even people, okay, like who are in this esports scene, like like Rom, like Helsith, right, like Sin, right? They keep coming back, right, because they really like the game. They're really passionate about the game ultimately. But Arena is kind of like, well, if you want to play, you want to play, right? It's kind of like the loyalty feels very unrewarded, right? Okay, well, there's like multiple layers to that one, am I right, Jaw? But let's not go there. It just seems like the game modes that have are the most dedicated players, right? Who are really into the game, right? ArenaNet looks at them and kind of holds them at the same value as your casual player who logs in once a month and spends $8, right? Like, and I think that's kind of like the core upsetting issue here is that as a veteran player, you feel like you are not valued at all, right? Okay, by the company, right? And that's certainly not by the developers. Let me make that very clear, guys. Okay, the developers are. This is this weird paradox of ArenaNet, right? You have these talented devs. You have people like Ben who unironically, okay, is hard carrying PvP right now, okay? And arguably some stuff in World vs. World. The man has a very strong back, okay?
Another thing about Ben is that he actually monetarily supports multiple content creators as well.
Yeah, he's subbing to all the streamers as well. He's subbed to a lot of streamers. Yeah.
He spends a lot of time, his own personal
time
in the community,
talking
discussing things. Yeah, like he goes above and beyond board like what he actually should be doing.
Oh yeah.
And he eats a lot of fucking stick from a lot of people as well. Like I personally have been guilty, not of like aiming anything at Ben, but if I have if I get something that just happens in it, like, for example,
a bad game
engineer rifle happens, like where none of the bullets connect, everything is obstructed, everything is evaded, I'm tilted to fuck, and I just send like 10 clips to Ben. I'm like, Ben, fix it. Like I'm obviously really annoyed, and he's sent all of that shit to QA. Like he's actually said, all right, dude, I'll send it to QA. Like he's actually trying to pass that on. So like even though I'm pissed off, he still does his best to like deal with my issue, and he knows it's not aimed at him. It's just my frustrations towards something else, and he goes above and beyond and does it, and like tries to help. Like so ridiculous that kind of transparency, that kind of just like little bit of interaction, interfacing, makes it a world of difference to anybody in the community, I think. Not just the content creator, but just to have that transparency, know that people actually somebody cares about what you're saying. A lot of the time it just feels like we don't get told anything. We don't get given anything. We don't like, obviously that's not strictly true as of late. They have been more transparent, but like I said before, they could say to us, oh, we are working on expansion 3, or just every month the guild chat could be less about, you know, how they designed Living World and how they, you know, decided not to kill Timey, and more about like what's coming up, you know, what the next steps are.
Living World is coming up.
No, but you know what I mean? Like it could be things like, oh, so we heard a lot about this in the PvP community, and our next steps are to, you know, listen to you guys and do this and do that. And then oh yeah, in the raiding community, oh, here's this and here's that. Like,
the thing is, how many people from PvP community and from the raiding community are actually watching guild chat?
That's the thing. People don't, because there's no incentive for them to do it. They literally have like barely anybody watch that. When they released the Sky Scale video, I think, or when they like started discussing the new mount, they got quite a lot of people watching it because there was a communal interest, right? If you literally are trying to appeal to, like, you know, the monkeys who like watching Living World or playing Living World, then you're not going to get a lot of people watching. But if you actually appeal to everybody in the community at some point throughout that guild chat, or that whatever the fuck they want to call it, then you will get more people interacting on Twitch. That's like standard. Like, you're not going to go you know, live on your main channel and just appeal to like 0.5% of a player base or whatever. I would never expect something just PvP related or just World v World related, or just collect everything, go through an itinerary and just go through it stage by stage, and people will tune in and find out about everything else that's going on as well as just that one thing they came to find out as well. You know,
so here's the thing, right? I kind of, maybe I'm wrong here, but I get the feeling that when it comes to Twitch community, and like the presence of PvP, World versus World, and raiding community on Twitch, Guild Wars 2 is afraid to show them. Not or interact with them. At least with the most of them.
Well,
which is weird.
Yeah, they can't be like that.
But
it's
understandable
like,
at the same time. But like it's so weird. Like that, like it's a very hard talk. But because I'm really new to being an ArenaNet partner and to being on Twitch in general, but I feel like the relationship is like it's so, like, excuse me, but fucked up between the biggest content creators, with some minor exceptions, and between ArenaNet. Like, ArenaNet acknowledges that the guys have influence, right? But at the same time, they would rather, like, not quite, I don't know, like, at least it feels right, like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely...
Maybe I'm wrong, again, like,
yeah. No,
instincts I'm wrong. I also don't know if I'm wrong or right, but...
I know where you're coming from there, and I am very much in two minds about this. To a certain extent, I understand why they don't like to share stuff. And the content creator stuff is not something we can perhaps talk about a little bit, but I mean, there's almost like a lot of, well, what I can certainly say is that there's a lot of mistrust, I would say, between ArenaNet and content creators in a lot of ways. And this, again, it's not entirely without foundation. There have been leaks. There have been issues with partners, sharing things they shouldn't have done. Like, even, I don't know if you guys this was a very long time ago. This was ages ago. Who remembers when stabilizing matrices became incredibly valuable? Oh boy. Yeah, there was
who could see that coming?
Yeah, there was a big operation actually. It got leaked, and people started massively manipulating fucking stabilizing matrices, and then people got that was obviously bad. But yeah, there have been leaks about this, about that. Like, and Wing 4 got leaked. Actually, Ken got leaked on the subreddit before that should have happened, right? Oh yeah, and that person got repartnered as well. We won't do any call outs, so there's absolutely no need for that, right?
You really know how I feel about, like, why this happens, right? Like, or how I feel there is a preventative in place, but they don't. They're not careful enough. You know how I feel about that, right, TeaTime?
They're not careful enough, but I'm not sure if that's true, because that particular individual was not. It was not like that. A lot of these cases are not because they're just random people they partnered. It's some of them have been fairly established partners, I suppose.
But the thing is, I don't think that, like, leaks and stuff like that are the major problem here.
It's one of the issues.
It's definitely one of the issues, but in general, I'm not talking about, like, the the content creators themselves and the streamers and I don't know, YouTube content creators or anything like that. I'm mostly talking about the Twitch community in general, right?
Oh,
again,
yeah, but
maybe I'm definitely like very wrong. Like also there are exceptions to that rule. Like probably Aurora Peaches community would be so welcome and loved. But and I also don't think that I also really don't want to say that ArenaNet hates, dislikes PvP community or raid community or world versus world community. No. Please, disclaimer, I do not want to say that. But at the same time, I see that there are certain things about those communities, I guess, like, the competitiveness, the sometimes toxicity that are, ArenaNet wants that to not just be anywhere around, like, at all.
Yeah, they have
that
this.
Is holding them back because that will be there in any mildly competitive game mode. Even though there is barely any competition left in Guild Wars, you cannot really avoid that, but they just want to pretend that it's not there. Maybe I'm definitely like absolutely wrong.
I think you're right. They do pretend it doesn't exist. They ignore it. They ignore it and they hope that it goes away. But the funny thing is that it exists and it has existed for years, and they need to just take it by the balls and ride it. You know what I mean?
The thing is, unless they delete everything but the open world and living story, there will always be competitiveness and some form of slight toxicity, because there are people who are better and there are people who are worse objectively at the game because of the time they spend, because of the dedication. I don't know, because of their talent towards pressing the buttons.
Yeah. That's a really lucid point there. Really, like ArenaNet have an interesting relationship with the Twitch culture, right? They really don't like Twitch culture, just in general. I'm not really sure why, because I'm gonna be 100% real, guys. I am maybe a little bit desensitized. I'm happy to accept that, right? And that might be true, but I am not even joking it, and I'm not saying this for my own ends here, but I actually think that the Twitch chats in the Guild Wars 2 community are actually very well behaved compared to some other chats, right?
Yeah,
you don't see like the racist shit. You don't see the homophobic shit, really. You don't see any of like the offensive stuff about the place, in my opinion, right?
You mainly just see like German and French people like calling each other names.
Yeah. I mean, there's some like silly memes, right? Like people are kind of memeing it up, right? There's like Pepe the Frog and stuff. There's gachi, right? There's like men wrestling. But I mean, that's not like, it's not even edgy, really, is it? Or am I wrong here, guys? I don't know. I feel like I'm not wrong there, right? I don't think the Guild Wars 2 Twitch community is are a bunch of edgelords, right? Like, in my opinion. So yeah, I agree with Xeberneth. I do find it very odd why they don't really want to engage with this part of the community. And yeah, some of them are a bit salty about Guild Wars 2, and they sometimes bash the developers a little bit. But that is a vocal minority. That is a minority, though, isn't it? Really, there's not a lot of people saying, fuck the devs, man, fuck the devs, bro.
Realistically, TeaPot, like in any gaming community, when there's anything that the Twitch community might not agree with, they will actively go, oh, fuck the devs, oh, they didn't do this, or they didn't. They find somebody to blame and they do it. They do it as a whole. They don't find a particular person and go, well, that fucking Joe Blogs over there, that guy did that, we should go fucking hunt him down. It's just a collective hatred towards the community, the development team, for doing something that they find in poor taste. But you will find that any way that you go. So like you can't say things like, oh, we're not going to interact with Twitch just because. It happens everywhere. Like, we're nothing special. If anything, we are a very, very, very small example of a Twitch community. And you're very right. You're very rightly so. We are not, or the Twitch community as a whole for Guild Wars 2 is not that bad. When they're not spamming racist terminology, they're not spamming all this shit. Everyone's relatively well behaved, and I banned one person every like fucking 4 days for some and it's probably the same person making fucking 400 accounts, and exactly who that is, who just likes to troll. So it's nowhere near as bad as they make it out, and it genuinely does surprise me as well that we don't get as much bang for our buck. We should get a lot. in comparison.
I do also think that this does extend to the entire community as a whole that ArenaNet is a little bit scared of, though. I think it's not just Twitch. I think it's the entire player base. I think ArenaNet are very scared about doing anything that rocks the boat, if that makes any sense, right? They don't really want to go there and even really have the conversation, have the discussion. They seem to be very scared of even answering questions, right, about the game or promising anything, right? Like ArenaNet are very uncomfortable saying they're going to do anything just because of the reaction if it doesn't work out. And you're certainly true that if this has happened in the past and it would happen again, right? Yeah, if they say something, we're doing this, and they don't deliver, yeah, there are going to be some assholes who say, dude, what happened there? What happened there? Like, yeah, wow, nice company, right? But that is like a massive minority. Like, in a way, there is something that I don't know, I'm not sure. It's a bit late for this, I suppose, but you gotta raise up your voice, guys. We gotta, support ArenaNet. Feels good, man. Right? I mean, maybe it's a little late for that sort of thing. But still, I really hope that ArenaNet knows that most of us are on their side, right? Like we want the game to be the best version of the game it can be. We're really looking to support the company, and we have done for a very long time, right? I've been playing since launch. In the past year of streaming, I have taken, I think, 2 or 3 days off. Okay, so yeah, I'm not really.
All in the past couple of months, right?
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, like it's in the past. Yeah, so like,
unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, look, I was ill once, and I took a day off because I was like, yeah, fuck this, man. I didn't really want to play. But look, I mean, that's gonna happen, right? If you're playing every day, and I do think that I try and be constructive. Okay, highly constructive in the way I communicate about the game, and honestly, I think we do a pretty good line of keeping our communities, a good job of keeping our communities in line, and I think we would continue to do that, especially if there was more communication from ArenaNet, and let's just have like a Q&A. Let's just talk about some stuff, and the answer, we can have a Q&A in it, but you can't just say the answer is we can't talk about that, right? That's not how this works, right? You can't just
bringing
just
up
do
that Q&A thing, by the way, that they did. Didn't they have them like it was either pre-recorded or they were only accepting a certain type of question? It was something like that. People thought that the Q&A was something where they were going to type into like Twitch chat and they were going to pick questions out of the Twitch chat, and they didn't do that. They had found these questions somewhere else beforehand, and they had them pre-written up, and they had the answers all. They know exactly what they were going to say. So people didn't actually get the answers that they wanted. They didn't get any kind of like, again, they lacked the interaction because it wasn't this type of personal interaction. It was just like some
even the Reddit Q&As. They would cherry pick the questions anyway. So sometimes you still get good, insightful answers out of those questions, but there's always lots of softball questions like, "Oh, I really love Timey's pink bow this episode. Oh, thank you very much. I worked 17 hours on that." Like there's always going to be softball questions, and sometimes they answer mediocre questions. If people get really angry and upset, then Mike O'Brien usually, writes a, this is the way we have to do it or whatever. But that's a little more rare. But it's cherry pick questions. You're never going to get any developer to just sit down. Well, I don't want to say that. That's a super blanket statement. It's unlikely you'll get developers to sit down and say, listen, we couldn't do this or we don't do this because of, these reasons or whatever. They always give a general PR reason. And yeah, that's a bit sad or whatever. But have they stopped even doing the Q&As on Reddit, didn't they? They haven't done one in a while.
I don't think they've done one since the layoff.
Yeah,
maybe there's nothing to ask questions about that they could answer. They can't answer anything.
There's always I love the sky scale.
Oh, is that a question though?
No,
doesn't seem like one.
But you'll get like 20 responses to that. So
I think right now they are afraid of getting a bunch of questions like, oh, when is the next living world, and like, what will it be about? And it will be all like, oh, we can talk about that. Oh, we can talk about that, and we can talk about this. We can talk about anything.
But why not though? Okay, and I think this is
exactly that's the question I wanted to ask. Like, what do they have to lose by talking about
this? Is where I've got a real bone to pick with their brand team or their marketing team or whatever you want to call it. Right? think that the image they try and keep up of this like perfect, clinical, okay, all happy, all smiley, you know, everyone's friends here, MMO, friendliest community ever. Like it's absurd. It's genuinely ridiculous. And to be honest, I think it's really it's fucking them over, right? You know, it is. I don't know why they're so attached to it, right? I don't understand. I don't think it helps them. It makes their community really resentful towards them, right? You know, it just breeds this kind of weird, like, apathy, right? You know, every time you talk to someone, honestly, like, even I'm starting to feel it. I know Jaw's starting to feel it. Everyone just starts feeling towards the game because it feels like you're just talking to a robot, right? You're not talking to... it just feels like the games company just doesn't give a fuck about the community because of how they distance themselves, okay? How they just directly separate on purpose. They avoid interaction and they don't communicate, like, seemingly by design because they want to keep it clean and clinical, right? But that's just not the way to go about it, right? It's just, it's like, ugh. It is not good, okay? It is not a good thing here, really. I really think they need to address this, otherwise it's just going to cause the community to become even more disconnected from the player base as well. But it's all just, like, not real life as well. Like, look, you know, it would be great if everyone was, like, permanently happy, smiley, okay? But for a start, I feel like ArenaNet is not delivering sufficiently for everyone to be happy, smiley, okay? But in addition to that, okay, well, as Xeberneth says, what do they have to lose? Like, seriously, if they say, yeah, we estimate we can get this story out, okay, with this, and we're looking to package it with a new raid and a new PvP map or something like that, like, if they don't deliver on that, just say, yeah, sorry guys, like, this is coming soon though, don't worry about it, right? And if people get angry at that, then here's the thing, ArenaNet, that is not your fault. Those people are the idiots, okay? And you know, there you go, right? They're being the big dum-dums, right? No one cares, right? Just shut the fuck up, right? And you're having this communication, having these Q&As, right? Like, if people get triggered when stuff doesn't come through on time, then the people who get triggered are kind of, you know, well, you clearly don't understand the word estimate, or, you know, we're going to try to do this, right? If they don't understand, then they're the big dum-dums, right? And you know, just ignore those people, right? I feel like the majority, the silent majority, is punished because of the sins of the vocal minority, right? And that just feels bad, okay? Of the dum-dums, okay? We're getting screwed by the dum-dums, and ArenaNet is caving and catering to the dum-dums, okay? And that just feels bad, you know? It's just not good. It's not good at all. I know. I think this would also be a really good thing with everything, right? With raids, with bug fixes, with PvP balance, with a world versus world. And honestly, it goes back to something that I want to talk about. We're going for rant number 2 here, guys, okay? Just seriously, ArenaNet, what do you want your game to be, right? Okay, where are we going? Because right now, does anyone here in the chat know where we're going for Guild Wars 2? That roadmap, I mean, it was great, but as you said, Xeberneth, it's all quality of life, right? It's like, yeah, we're going to give you some build templates, we're going to give you some legendary runes, okay? But what is the future? Like, what is the focus of the game, right? Where are we going? Okay, are we talking about just living story, or are we going to try and refocus, bring world versus world back? Okay, are we going to try and refocus a bit on PvP? Are we going to try and integrate the entire community into raids, into fractals, into dungeons? Because honestly, right now, look, guys, I'm an ArenaNet partner. And I'm not memeing you guys here. I'm Mr. Shill. Use my referral link, boys, okay? Big's a snake. Let's go. A referral link, sub. Guys, subscribe right now. Twitch Prime. Guys, get some Twitch Primes in the chat, please. Can we get some Twitch Primes, okay? Let's get some, like, Ninja Primes in the chat, guys. Let's go. Come on. All right? Seriously. What are we doing? I have no idea where Guild Wars 2 is going, right? For all I know, this ship is, like, you know, just, like, randomly flailing around without a rudder, right? Just crashing into all the rocks, okay? That's kind of how it feels like sometimes, right? Like, what the bloody hell is going on, right? Why? I mean, yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm just a partner, right? So I'm not, you know, I don't deserve special treatment as such, I suppose. But, like, it's a bit fucked when even someone like Wooden Potatoes doesn't have a goddamn clue where the game is going. Maybe he does, though. Oh, shit. Maybe he does. Maybe he fucking knows. Okay? But he probably doesn't, right? He probably doesn't. That's the thing. And I don't know. It is not right that we don't know what the hell is going on with the game. Like, we're the most dedicated players, right? You know, the veteran players, the hardcore gamers, okay? Why is it that we have no idea where the game is going and what the future of the game is. Okay, that to me is just
leaks.
It's just not right. And I don't think anyone knows. I'm not even sure if ArenaNet knows, because that's sometimes how it feels like, okay? Their indecisiveness, their unwillingness to kind of, put something down, right? Just, kind of put the, the line in the sand, the boot, okay? The boot of ArenaNet to kind of go, yeah, we're a strong, independent game company. It just seems like everything they do is kind of like a bit quavering, like almost like they're scared of the community. Don't be scared of the community. We're not terrifying. And you know what? We actually, to kind of that's bad cop, right? That's just good cop. ArenaNet, okay? I want you to know that we love you, okay? Except Jaw. Jaw hates you, but okay.
What?
Yeah, Jaw hates you. He actually hates ArenaNet. I brought him on here just to solely roast the game. We'll get to that in a little bit, guys. Okay, we're gonna get to that.
Didn't we already do that a long time ago?
Yeah, it's Jaw's he's about to go hard, guys. He's about to just really he's
I'm
really gonna go
fucking
in.
not.
Yeah, he's about to go in. This is actually his last day as ArenaNet partner. I will soon be calling Jebro, guys. Okay, just to kind of get to increase the heat. Okay,
Dude, you are literally the fucking wooden spoon in the bowl that is drama. Like, what the fuck do you mean?
He loves it.
Well, you don't have content in the game. You need to get content out of the community.
That's exactly it, dude. Holy shit. Like,
what?
He's already told me that if I ever want to throw away my fucking partnership, then I should just come on here and just rant about a particular person, and I'd 100%. I'd lose my Twitch channel. I'd lose everything. I'd lose it. So
yeah,
he's already asked.
Yeah, get permabanned. Get a little bit permabanned on Twitch.
What would happen is I'd get a temp ban, and then I'd lose my sponsorships, and then I'd lose my ArenaNet partnership, and then I'd say fuck off.
Wow. Well, there you have it.
Wow. Harsh.
I mean, you got to take care, I guess,
Don't
right?
do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Do you guys know?
I'm not doing it.
Huh?
Obviously.
What do you guys think? Where do you guys think the game is going? Do we know where the game is going, or do we lack the critical information as usual? I just feel like we lack the critical information.
I have no
Definitely
idea.
do.
I have absolutely no idea where the game's going. That's the one thing that infuriates me. I want an expansion. I want Guild Wars 3. I want a new IP that I can get behind and embrace as a ArenaNet partner and create content for it and actually be recognized for it.
Guild Wars 3.
Whoa.
I just feel like we don't know. Well, as content creators, we don't know anything because of obvious reasons. We know why. But it's been
No,
2 years.
as content creators, we literally don't know anything.
Well,
I actually have a weird question, if I may.
Go on.
If I may ask it. So ArenaNet don't give any information to the content creators and partners because there were leaks in the past.
That is
neither
accurate.
confirm nor deny.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
Kind
unless
of,
you're Teapot.
partially. Did the leaks hurt the game, and will the leaks hurt the game in the future? Because I understand that it hurts the partnership program, because you can't trust your partners, they don't actually respect the contract that they have. But would that actually hurt the game?
I think for one or two of them there were some economy backlashes.
Okay, if we're not talking
overall,
about
no.
economy-related stuff, no insider trading, somebody leaks that there is what the Living World Season 5 will be about. Relatively, the general concept, or leaks that the next expansion is in the work.
I wouldn't say that
would that actually
a leak no, it doesn't it doesn't typically fucking backfire on in terms of the game's success or anything. It's more so just that dude, it's NDA. It's such a fine line, but basically things that we would know about to prepare content for, or even to go as far as I would even say things like in-game advertising. If they wanted to flood people towards us as content creators, they would need to be able to trust us. So in order to gain more exposure for the game as a whole in terms of advertising and things like that, they need to be able to that's the way that I see it.
I mean, that would all work. If they wanted to advertise their game themselves, do they really do that? If they wanted to advertise their content creators,
They don't want to send their community that is, all accepting, all types of people, all genders, all everything, and everybody that's happy-go-lucky and nobody hates the game and all that shit, and then send them to my stream and I'm there like, ranting about the game. They're not going to do that, are they? So there's
there
like
are
limits.
people who I mean, I know that there are certain types of streamers that can certainly like get that crowd and keep them entertained. To be fair, like and sometimes ArenaNet even kind of promotes those. That's great. But at the same time, like returning back to the whole, no information about anything thing, like it wouldn't hurt, right? And if you wanted to promote anyone, keep promoting the streamers that are doing, open world fashion wars content. Like, maybe I am wrong again. Maybe there is just something, there are secrets that are unavailable to us, but it just seems so like there's no reason behind anything, honestly. You can't crack the code of ArenaNet. You never know what's the reason behind it.
We represent them as ArenaNet partners, right? Yes. So if they put themselves on the line, I've got an example of this, okay? I was hosted by the Guild Wars 2 channel. So Stephanie was on the Guild Wars 2 channel, and she saw me live, and she hosted me.
Yes.
And I have SFX in my channel that say things along the lines of penis, look at those glorious cocks, fucking stupid, pathetic piece of shit cunt,
yes, I know.
Yada, 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 right? So within seconds of being hosted by Guild Wars 2, everybody in my chat is going, oh my god, Guild Wars 2 host, and then starts spamming the SFX. And Stephanie unhosted me.
Instant regret.
Like that. Like, it could not have happened any faster, right?
Wow.
So it's a prime example of how, like, they do not, even so much as having any kind of representation that might be slightly offensive, where they're going to, encourage, a tunnel towards my content, for example. It's not going to pay off, is it? That's bad rep for them. So if it is detrimental to their company image, is probably the way that they see it. So in order to trust us, they need to make sure that we don't do things like that if they were to do advertising avenues like that. But again, that's...
I didn't talk about advertisement. I didn't even start talking about that. I was talking exclusively about it initially about giving the partners information, being afraid of the leaks.
I mean, the leaks are just one thing. I don't think that leaks happen too often. That would be a... I mean, leaks have happened in the past, but it's not happened as of late. So I think that things are on the up and up. But again, I don't think that those things would really change how the game looks to the community or how the game does in terms of its successes.
Well, to be first of all, it definitely wouldn't. So we're coming to a conclusion: it wouldn't hurt, right? But at the same time, if we're looking at the fact that ArenaNet doesn't really communicate on the fact of what awaits us to anyone, it doesn't do it to partners, and it doesn't do it with general public.
I mean, if they did to us, it's not going to make a difference anyway, because we can't tell you that we know.
I don't.
If we know, we can't say it.
Okay, and then somebody leaked it.
I don't. I mean,
here I come to a question: wouldn't that be? Wouldn't that actually make some people happy?
Yes.
But something is waiting. Something has been leaked. Suddenly.
Yeah. And
because I'm really sorry, but like ArenaNet doesn't do it himself. Like, let the partners leak stuff.
This is.
This is marketing.
I'm not sure if you guys would agree with this, but I actually think that the hype going up to Path of Fire was really lackluster, and I think the leaks with regards to all the Path of Fire stuff was actually a massive deal and really hyped up the game a lot. Because ArenaNet just wasn't communicating at the time was what was going on. So, and I'm not really looking for special treatment here. I don't really care. If I get information that the community doesn't have, I just wish they would give the information to anyone. Right? Okay.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be me. I mean, I don't really care. Just tell leak ArenaNet, leak, go. Now there is one thing with could the leaks be harmful? There's one thing that I think would actually be really damaging, and I think if they leaked that Guild Wars 3 was being made, I think that would actually be terrible for the game, because as soon as it's like, oh wait, everything I'm doing here is kind of redundant, right? At that point, right? That would actually, I mean, it's perhaps not the most logical thought, but it would be one that people would have, and they would just kind of give up on the game, right, and wait till Guild Wars 3 kind of came out, right? So I think that would be damaging. But if it was leaked that it was an expansion, Okay, now that that would be hype, right? That would be really hype. I think people will be excited, right? If it was leaked that there are new elite specializations, okay. If it's leaked that there is actually a raid coming, right? Because we don't know, right? Then that would be fantastic, right? That would be excellent. Again, if Guild Wars 3 had Hall of Monuments, though, I think it almost certainly would, and that would be really good. But I think people would still kind of give up a little bit. But yeah, I would love to see an even more detailed version of Hall of Monuments. For those who don't know, basically what you do in Guild Wars 1, you can unlock titles, some skins and stuff like that for Guild Wars 2. It's pretty good. Yeah. To be real, Conacher is anything in the bigger picture, and it should advertise, communicate about the game themselves better. I actually agree with that. I think ultimately that we are a little bit irrelevant. We get beaten by Truck Simulator, and it feels fucking bad, dude. It feels damn bad.
That is completely fair, but the problem is that ArenaNet are too afraid of doing that, right? At least, if it was okay. Here, okay. It all sounds really questionable, but I also think that if a partner leaked something, it's kind of, inside information. They might have lied all along. If ArenaNet has a leak and they fail to deliver on that leak, it's like, oh, you know what? That guy just lied. Or we were saying that we are potentially working about it, but that it removes all of the actual responsibility from them.
Oh shit. Well, so you're saying they need to use strategic leaks to hype the community? No, okay, right. Now, what? Now, this is a radical idea. Now, you got to bear with me, guys. This could be pretty fucking crazy, Xeberneth. This is intense, right? What if they just communicated, and if it doesn't go to plan, they say it just didn't go to plan, guys, but don't worry, we're still working on it, and we're going to get there in the end, right? And then if people get mad at that, you call those people stupid, because that's how reality works, right? That's real.
Calling
what I'm
people
saying?
Stupid isn't PMA, and it doesn't. Guild Wars 2 is the friendliest community, the happiest game. You can't just call people stupid if you're playing Guild Wars 2. You're physically,
what I really
guys, I did not mean that the arena is going to say ha ha stupid. No, they're not doing that, guys. Okay, they're not actually. Call them Brams.
Just call them Brams. Yeah.
Well, I guess you could do that. Right?
One thing that would really change Guild Wars 2, right? In terms of you're talking about leaks and sharing information and shit. What they this is no offense meant to anybody who works at ArenaNet or anything who's currently doing this job, but what they need is somebody who represents the company and actually communicates with the community on a regular basis on multiple different formats, so that there is a multitude of information coming into the company from many sources, which will in turn provide them with more information to work on and to get down to the nitty gritty of what people want and what kind of information would be good to be releasing. I think it's very obvious that they're very scared to share information with people because they don't know how people will react. And if they got over that and actually communicated with people, like Teapot, for example, if they put themselves into a little bit of a firing line and came on to Tea Time and they sort of outline what they could and couldn't answer, or just gave a little bit of an insight, gave to be that inside person and have something to talk about, that'd be great. I feel a lot of the time, if you're a community manager, you should definitely be in touch with your community, and it definitely feels like there is a lack of connectivity with the community manager at this point. And I think the last person who was very much so in touch was that Grouch. Was Grouch the
the
community manager?
Competitive head of competitive.
Yeah. So obviously this is like a PvP related thing, but the guy was very, very transparent and spoke and communicated with people all the time, and apparently he was like a streamer as well or something. So he was communicating with the community. I would like to see more of that. I'd like to see a lot more communication as far as community management goes, because then you get more interactivity, and then maybe then we find out more about not leaks, so to say, but we don't need leaks if we have somebody who is communicating with us regularly, because we would be receiving information on the regular that would deny that kind of leak requirement. People would be constantly hyped, or maybe not hyped, but just kind of edged. We all know what edging is. Permanent.
Is that something you're engaged in a lot, Joe? Is that?
Oh, of course. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah. Is that
if you don't edge, then you're fucking missing out.
Yeah. So while you're PvPing, while you're just every match, right? Just okay.
That's a different type of edging.
Yeah. Okay. I see. I think we've kind of blown. I think we've blown that topic up. I think that's enough of that. I'll tell you what.
What edging?
What? Well, not well. I think all of that. Just like the communication thing. We think we've kind of gone to the end of that. Like, as for one bonus meme, guys, you know, here on Tea Time, you guys you're in for a treat. Okay, here's like the big bonus meme. Okay, are you ready for the bonus meme, chat? Right, Jaw. Why do you think that we lose to like Euro Truck Simulator and Tetris on Twitch?
Know.
Okay, why do we lose?
All right.
Come on.
Yesterday, I'm streaming. Boyce is streaming. We got like a couple of. I think Xeberneth were you live yesterday, Zeb?
Yeah.
We had 378 to 475 viewers. We had less viewers than Euro Truck Simulator and fucking Tetris, right? People prefer pretending to drive a truck than actually watching Twitch for Guild Wars 2. So
listen,
I don't care if it's an outsider, right? What?
I stream Euro Truck Simulator, so I'm greatly offended that you're trying to rag on my game. I had 200 people watching me pretend to drive a truck. I mean, what else could be more entertaining than that?
I don't know. You got me beat, dude.
So, I mean, now we know it was just Inks just stealing all the Guild Wars 2 viewers. It's not the truck simulator. It's Inks himself.
Inks, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know that there's people that are saying that Guild Wars 2 is boring to people, right? So, okay, interesting perspective. Because the thing is, when you're watching somebody play Guild Wars 2, I'm not encouraging you to just go watch somebody complete a dungeon, right? The things that come from a Guild Wars 2 stream are things like, for PvP, for example, is certain matchups, class matchups. You learn things about automated tournaments and rotation strategy. You improve your own game knowledge by learning about visuals and so on and so forth. In raids with Teapot, for example, and Xeberneth, you learn more about class mechanics, how to get the most damage, what kind of mechanics you should be looking for a boss, how to do challenge modes, etc., etc. There is so much that is on the table for you as a player to grow, right? So you can't just say, oh, it's just boring to watch. Like, stop paying attention to the bigger picture. Pay attention to the micro. Have a look at the little things that are going on the inside. You know, that's basically how you should look at streams. Like, when we're here to be like a resource. Like a lot of people that stream are, you know, full of information that you might not have. How did I fucking speak that? I'm going crazy, dude.
Well, the thing is, I think the problem here is that how many people in Guild Wars 2 actually are interested in getting better at the game?
That's what I mean.
The hammer blow, dude. No, don't say it. Don't say it.
I mean, you don't have to be good. You can be perfectly fine if you're, average. Everybody wins. We're all winners here. Why would you watch anyone to actually learn something? Unless you're a new player and you think that you need to be good, but just give it half a year and you will realize that you can do anything with just by auto attacking. It's good.
But I mean,
even when it comes to PvP, I'm pretty sure that you can have a class that will just auto attack something to death somewhere, in gold.
No,
because gold is good as well.
Maybe in bronze, but then people in bronze are actually like computerized. That's where people train their bots.
You need to actively try to throw as far as I've been told to actually get to bronze, though.
Well, it's just like the thing is,
this is the hat I wear when I play Euro Trucker.
A Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, a nice Guild Wars 2 cap.
Euro Trucker.
Shilling out at the game.
I don't know.
You come to Euro Trucker and you're like, guys, please buy Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, easy money,
it's one
dude.
thing that really got to me.
You invade other Twitch categories.
I get people that come into my stream, for example, and they'll say, or like people that I've asked before, even on like the likes of Reddit, I'm like, so why wouldn't you watch Twitch? Why wouldn't you go to YouTube to find content, right? And a lot of them say, I can just play the game. I don't need to watch somebody play Guild Wars 2. I don't need to watch anything like that. And then they go, oh, how did you do that? Like, because I'll do something that they don't know. And then I'm like, well, I thought you said you didn't have to watch content. And it's very like consistent in terms of like how people think that Guild Wars 2 is just so easy to play, and that it's just like something. I remember the context. It was using the Griffin to dive and then come back. A lot of people don't know that you can come back up on the Griffin by holding like back or like whatever that button is. They had no idea, and they would have known that if they watched the stream like once or twice. Like they don't interact with the community as their own preventative measure because they think that they know everything already. I think some of them need to eat some fucking humble pie and come and realize they're actually shit at the game.
That's well, maybe I'll use less colorful language, but it's a big thing with raids actually. If a lot of the raid community watched Twitch and watched the raid streamers, any of the raid streamers really, myself, Xeberneth, Diaxon, Rocker, Sam, et cetera, Nova, right, Plenix, right? If you actually watch these players, you can see basically every class, and honestly, it's not just about the class, it's about understanding how to beat raids, right? Like, not just how to hit the buttons in the right order. Like, people only see, like, one level, right? They think that, how you beat raids is you got to, here we go, we've got to cast our Tides of Time, then we got to do the Continuum split, and then the Signet of Inspiration, the Time. It's not about that. It's about understanding, like, priorities, like a flow chart of priorities, about, how you deal with the mechanics, how you do the DPS at the same time, like, what is going wrong in the raid. And honestly, if more people watch Twitch, I genuinely think that the Guild Wars 2 raid scene would just be a lot better off because people would have a better handle on how to beat this stuff. And the same is, of course, true for PvP, right? If you watch these PvP streamers, you're watching Jaw, you're watching Boyce, okay, you're watching Sind, etc., right? You're going to have an understanding of, okay, right, like, should I be taking that 1v1? Okay, should I be going far here on respawn? No, I probably shouldn't, right? Okay, all that sort of thing, like understanding, like, the importance of well, this is something that, ranked will be good, targeting, right, or communication, right, with playing. Like, it would drastically improve the quality, right, the quality of the gameplay in every game mode, right? It would.
There's like misconceptions that if you target somebody in PvP, that it means that you're insulting them. But actually what it means is you might be coming to res them, or you might be coming to, like, prevent their death, or you're going to prevent their stomp or something. It's like it's used an awareness tool. People don't know that. Where's the resource for that? Like, that is a community driven thing. That's something that we've developed as people to play the game, but they don't have that connectivity, so they don't learn that. There's no knowledge transfer of that then maybe permeates through into the rest of the community. It just seems to stay within the Twitch community that doesn't really get that much expansion. Like, people just don't, it doesn't build because people just don't want to come to Twitch or whatever, or YouTube or
whatever. What about Twitch drops?
Yeah.
why no Twitch drops?
Because if Twitch we can't rely on Twitch drops to become better streamers, guys. Like, if they're gonna put Twitch drops in, you got to become better as a content creator first. Like, just don't
is that why ESO added Twitch drops
first? Sorry, what?
Is that why ESO added Twitch drops? Because all the ESO streamers became better streamers?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
I
didn't
realize that. I'm sorry.
Wait, you didn't know that? I think so.
I didn't know.
All the streamers were complaining about it in ESO. They were like, "Our viewership is so low. We need drops so that we flourish, and then ESO gets fuck all. We just want drops for ourselves because we're failing as content creators." Yep.
But would Twitch drops even be,
we are memeing right here.
with the current engine?
This may have been
the engine. The root of all problems in Guild Wars 2.
I'm sure it's
literally
doable,
everything.
I just want to clarify to everybody that that's a big meme that, like, Teapot and I think Inks we're all engaged in. We all know what that's about. So, like, that's probably gone over a lot of your heads, but it was more of an inside joke.
So actually, something interesting, like, if there is some sort of restriction on the engine, and there very well might be as to why Twitch drops haven't been done or haven't even been tried, how is is ESO in that much better of a spot that it can do Twitch drops with their engine and Guild Wars 2 can't? Is it really an engine limitation?
I don't think so. I think it's just like ESO has like maybe their company is more in tune. I mean, it's Bethesda, right? So, like, if they see Twitch drops becoming a thing and Twitch Prime being a thing, and Prime interactions that can give them some marketing, then why wouldn't they? It's fucking textbook, really, in terms of how marketing goes.
Just to be devil's advocate here a little bit. I mean, like, ESO, like the viewers for ESO are very because of the drops, right? It's very up and down, right? Like when there are drops, you're gonna have viewers, and then there's gonna be like a massive drop off, right? When you don't have viewers, when you don't have drops, sorry. And I imagine, I don't know, are there drops right now? It's probably not like outrageous as it stands right now for the viewership. It's probably not crazy. So it's not really gonna give you a consistent viewership a lot of the time. It's gonna be temporary, and it's not gonna stick. It's almost like, I mean, it's almost like legal viewbot, right? That's kind of what it is.
Yes and no. I like to think about it this way, and what you're saying is not untrue. I like to think about it this way. Let's say that there are, and by the way, they should put Twitch drops in the patcher as well, so people, when they patch into the game, see that this is happening right now. And maybe a link to like the partner list or something to see who's streaming. Beyond that, though, what I think it does, if you advertise it that way, you'll get people who might not be regular Twitch viewers coming just for the drop. Yes, they're just there for the loot. They don't really care about you, but it's your job as a streamer to make them care about you, to be entertaining, to make them say, hey, I didn't really think I'd like Twitch, but this dude is funny, or this girl is funny. Like, I think it does exactly what you say, Teapot, in that, yes, it does create view bots, but it also opens the door of opportunity to grab new viewers to Twitch.
Yeah,
that's how it's supposed to operate. Like it's an incentive for it's like a cycle, right? So what you do is you get your community, your gaming community, to go and interact on Twitch, and in doing so, you do advertise your game. Because how many people go to Twitch and they'll look at all the games that are on the front page and they'll go, "What's this game? Why are there so many people watching it? What's this about?" And they'll click on it and they'll be intrigued, and then that might lead to you buying that game, right? And it's not necessarily that you would then click on that streamer. You're not going to click on that streamer to get that drop until you need that item that's associated with it in game. So like, you find the category because the drops are happening. People from the game are on Twitch because the drops are happening. So you both you give something to your current community, you give something to a possible new community as well, because you're getting new players in via this free advertising revenue, not revenue, pathway, and then you get to like sort of do this periodically as well. So it's not a one-time thing. You get to cycle it. So like, you get this fucking advertising boom over and over again, like multiple times in a year. And it's like, well, fuck me, why aren't we doing it? I recommended this, like, I don't know, like 18 months ago. And it's quite honestly one of the most modern approaches to game advertising that currently exists. And I was actually quite disappointed when I saw that ArenaNet had put Guild Wars 2 on a fucking billboard in like New York City or something, or wherever they put it. I thought, nobody puts advertisements on billboards anymore, dude. Like, do they know what Twitch is and like YouTube? And then we saw that they made the mobile advert, which was good. That's a step in the right direction. A lot of people interact on their phones. You watch a YouTube video, you get an advert, whatever. That's fine. That's how you approach people. But a billboard, like, I mean, no one looks at a billboard and goes, "Oh yeah, that game looks great." They want to see gameplay. They want to see like a visual that's going to excite them. They don't want to see a fucking static image, in 2D color. It's, you know what I mean? I feel like it's just, I don't think they understand what it is. I don't think they understand the purpose. Maybe they don't think that they're going to earn enough money from, implementing the drops, the development that's going to go into the drops or whatever. But I guarantee that if you do it, frequently enough, you would see a return in new player base.
Well, yeah, as you say, simply bumping Guild Wars 2 up the Twitch category list, right, would be a huge deal. Because it's true that it might not bring consistent viewers, but imagine if you're able to generate, say, 10,000 viewers on Guild Wars 2. I mean, that's a little ambitious, but then again, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not actually, because a lot. This is the biggest misconception. I will always defend Guild Wars 2 on this. People say that Guild Wars 2 is dying, right, and that the player base is very, very low. Now, I actually don't think that's the case. Like, if anything, you're probably seeing more and more people kind of logging in sporadically into the game. I think the game is very much alive in terms of how many people actually play, right, with some level of regularity. So maybe if you did have some like free stuff, you would actually get a lot of people going, and maybe you would get a lot. And yeah, if you can move up on the Twitch the Twitch listings, right, then suddenly, right, you then that's when you get the new players. Right, that when you have these drops, that's when you have new players. They say, "Oh, wait, what? Guild Wars 2? I thought that was a dead game." Right? Who is streaming this? Like, what's going on there? And then, as long as you have, a lot of content creators on, you've got people playing PvP, doing raids, hell, maybe even world versus world, right? Then you that is going to give a really good impression of what the game is about, because this is something that is not entirely ArenaNet's fault, but it kind of is a little bit. People really get the wrong end of the stick when it comes to Guild Wars 2, and people have these really ingrained ideas about it. Now, the great example of this is actually our very own Jawgeous here, because he was our ambassador to Asmongold. In fact,
he
and
skipped through my video.
He watched your video, but for a start, he didn't. I think he didn't want to understand. Without talking a little bit of trash there, I think he didn't actually want to like the game, like right off the bat, and that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I think as a WoW player, it's a bit of a tough sell if you really like the gear progression aspect. I think that was actually a big sticking point. But like, you could see the chat, right? If you look at the chat, if you look at his reaction, it was almost like he didn't quite understand what the game was about. Even though I do actually think you laid it out pretty clearly. To be fair, right? I think it was pretty. It was very unequivocal, right? It was pretty obvious what was going on there. But I think a lot of people really don't know what the game's about. They kind of view it as like a fashion wars, casual, nothing, right, with no end game. That's not the case. There is actually a fair, big chunk of end games, right? I mean, you've got 7 raids now, and to be honest, to get through all of that, it will take you some time. I mean, it's not not the craziest thing ever. But if you went in with 10 new players, if you went with your community and you only played with your community with no outside help, then yeah, you would take some time there. PvP is purely skill based, right? It is just raw skills, no gear grind. It's all about personal improvement, which is better than a gear grind in my opinion, right? And then you have world versus world, which is actually, well, I mean, I don't really like it as it is right now, but I know some people do. Some people do like the Big Zerg gameplay, and that's great, right? What do you mean, fucking wrong, Inks? So it's if you could rate anyway. Back to the main point. Okay, I've kind of. We're gonna bring it up. No, it's not a tangent. You gotta flesh out your ideas. Like you gotta explain exactly why you're saying what you're saying, right? And like the whole point of raising up on the Twitch, Twitch leaderboard, as it were, is that you can remove these misconceptions. I think Guild Wars 2 is a very poorly understood game from outside the community. If you're in the community, you know what Guild Wars 2 is about. You know about raids. You know about PvP, right? You know about World vs. World. You know about how the living story works, like how the gearing works, all the build craft and stuff like that. But if you're outside the community, nobody's got a bloody clue. You know what I mean? No one's got a bloody clue what the game is actually even about, and I think that's a massive issue. And I don't really know how that happened. Like, why don't people get it? Is it a marketing thing, do you think? Or is it because it's just not big on Twitch, so people kind of don't? But Asmongold's not an idiot. I genuinely think that him and his community are just under misapprehensions, right? Without going too hard on the leech thing, but I really think that the best way to do it would be to actually talk to someone, to Jaw, for example, right? Seeing as he's the man of the moment, right, with the video, actually having a conversation rather than looking at a video.
I did
so
actually
you can
reach
ask
out
questions, right?
I reached out to him.
Did he reply?
I said that I would answer any. No, I sent him a dono, and I said that if you have any questions about the video, about the game in general, feel free to hit me up. I didn't get any response. And there were a lot of people that were like saying, "Oh my god, he's in the chat! Like, ask him questions," and he just completely overlooked it. So
get wrecked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I made so much money off of that video that I didn't really give a fuck that I gave.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So,
high roller jaw.
Well, absolutely fucking not, but it was nice. But anyway, like I think going back to what you said about the fact that because it has low viewership, people don't take it seriously. I think it does come down to both encouragement of the community onto Twitch is one point, marketing the game towards getting community growth in the first place, They don't do a very good job of the marketing. That's not something that's unheard of. It's kind of like a consensus. And then maybe like they don't do a great job at like community retention in the sense that like tutorials, right? So the tutorial system of the game is terrible. Your entry to the game is completely terrible. You go in, you spam one on a big fucking floaty rock thing if you're a human, and then all of a sudden you're level 2 and you've got like 2 abilities or something. Like, where do you learn about like the difference between power and condition damage? Where do you learn, the implications of your trait lines and what the ideals of your trait lines are? Where do you, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it just doesn't help anybody get into the game. So they don't do well at getting people into the game in the first place, and they don't do a great job at actually retaining those people because they don't know what they're doing, because they haven't introduced that to them. When I played Final Fantasy 14 recently, you actually, there's like a mentor system where it's individual, like it's the mentor is an NPC, but you get to go into an instant zone and it will say dodge this thing, right? And then that's just one thing, and then it'll say, okay, dodge this and now do this as well, and like you have to use a certain skill order whilst you're dodging, and then it tries to explain to you that if you use your combo on the wrong mob instead of like main assisting your tank, then you lose that round. So it teaches you to use your main assist key and to focus your fire onto a single target, and so on and so forth. And it rewards you with good gear that you can use up until level 30, right? And if they implemented something like that gave you a reward, but also taught you how to use your buttons, positioning, blah, 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 that's relative to your class. So obviously I was like playing Dragoon, so it was like a relative thing to Dragoon. Then, that I think that would do a world of good in terms of retention and giving people a better chance going into the game. At this point, people are just like thrown into the game, and it's like, well, what the fuck do I do now? Where do I go? The amount of people that boost to 80 and they're like, what? Like they're just so fucking confused. And I'm like, why did you boost? You don't know anything about your character, the way the damage is done or anything. Well, and yeah, like HimTwit just said, it's too much freedom. It is 100% too much fucking freedom, too much creative freedom. I know that you can level up doing World v World, PvP, PvE hearts. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want to level up, but there needs to be like a little bit linear, right? It needs to be a little bit linear. And the only thing that's linear in the level up to 80 is your personal story every 10 levels. There is nothing else. Why is there not a tutorial every like five levels or something that teaches you something that you don't know about your class that is a bit elaborate? It's very, very minor things that could make a massive fucking difference to this community and the way that the game holds itself. And it's surprising to me that ArenaNet don't see this themselves. They haven't seen, in all this time, they have not seen it themselves.
Well, this is where there are two things that I would attack there for a start. Like everything you said there is true, right, and is really difficult. But I think this wraps back into the ArenaNet identity crisis we were talking about, right? They don't really, their game is a weird, multifaceted beast now, because the new player experience, there's a lot of freedom, so people don't really know what the hell is going on, right? But at the same time, they want it to be a casual game, right? And they also want to have this like really in-depth, complicated combat system. Like the game originally was supposed to be esports, right? Like they designed this game literally with esports in mind. They made it so they could balance the game easily with the way the weapon skills are, the way utility skills are, the way traits are. They and especially when they streamline it with specializations, they wanted.
I tried explaining that to someone. I tried explaining that to people. People don't believe that. They don't believe that.
Of course they don't. I mean, I wouldn't if I was new, considering how the game is now. But yeah, it was supposed to be. It was literally designed with competitive in mind, right? The entire time. And the trouble is that, it gives you a lot of freedom because it was originally kind of aimed at, if you think about it, hardcore players, right? It was supposed to be for hardcore PvP and that sort of thing. That was the game. And then that changed, their audience changed, but the new player experience stayed the same, right? Okay, and that means if you're not motivated to learn, you're not going to understand what the fuck's going on, right? So they were in a really tough situation. That's why they added the level 80 boost, right? Because they wanted to say, okay, right, we skip all the confusing shit. We'll try and throw you to the end game and see if you can stick on something, right? Because now you're level 80, right? You can go and do the story, right? And you can experience the world with all your abilities, right? But it's like not the best solution. But the thing is, right? I think the dream for them will be fully reworking the new player experience, right? But I don't think they can do that. I think that's way too much work because they need to rework like the entire core game. We're talking World of Warcraft Cataclysm here, right? Okay, so I think at this point it's more efficient for them just to kind of shuffle people directly into the end game, right? As opposed to reworking the new player experience. I think the best we could hope for is adding tutorials, and I think that would probably be the best approach to it, is to explaining what boons do, what are conditions, right? What all the stats do, what does expertise do, and what does concentration do, okay? What are all these gear types, what's going on there? Talking about upgrade components, right? Like, that's probably the best we can go, but like, it's really, this is one of the sadnesses that a lot of us have with the game, right? This game is actually incredibly complicated, right? It is undeserving of being lowered to a casual game, right? Okay, it is so complicated and so in-depth with the way its systems and combat operate that it doesn't work as a casual game, right? It doesn't work. It's kind of, it's funny. It's actually funny to me that this is the case.
It's complete polar opposite.
Yeah. And that's the identity crisis. Yeah, you're absolutely right, yeah. Were you gonna say something, Xeberneth? Actually, you look like you were just on the. I meant to like start yelling at us.
No. I was just thinking that technically there is already an NPC in Silver Wastes, that you first encounter when you usually when you boost your character to level 80 with a boost. That already has something to say. Like, you can ask some sort of questions. I have no idea what are those questions because I'm not a new player. But so they already have that in PC. Why just not add more stuff to it? The only problem is that many people will not actually bother clicking on those replicas and reading anything. They really need to incorporate it in the gameplay, right? For it to actually take effect.
You need to
they
force
could
people
honestly
to do
take a page out.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy XIV's tutorial system, arguably probably one of the best that's in MMOs. Seriously.
But then at the same time, when people boost their character to 80, what happens to all the tutorials that maybe could have been unlocked every 5 levels that you go through the game?
If you use your boost, then you're forced to do some form of tutorial system that is only accessible.
Pass an exam to level 80.
Well, I mean, it's like if you boost your character, then they will give you like a quest line or something that you have to do, or like you get some better level 80 gear if you go down the tutorial route, which is something you can't ignore. And then you just have to learn about your weapon skills at that point, as opposed to what you learn at level 1 or something. I mean, the level 1 tutorial could be more about the actual like ins and outs of the game, as opposed to things like, or focusing on things like power and condition and traits and what to look for when you're leveling up. And then then you go to, if you boost to level 80, then you're looking at actually what the traits that you have by default, explaining what they do, how your character synergizes very briefly, and then just letting you kind of figure out the rest on your own. You've taken it in your stride to go for that 80 boost. You've skipped a lot of that content. Well, you're not going to know as much because you skipped it. If you actually played the game through, maybe that would be better for you long term, but I don't know.
Well, to be fair, for new players, I think it's still, even without the tutorials, it's so much better to not use the boost. Because at least there is a chance, if they're leveling to 80 on their own, even just through open world, which I actually don't think that the new player experience is that bad in the game. It's not something that needs to be absolutely reworked. It still kind of works for some people.
Well, you think the new player experience works for people in Guild Wars 2?
Kind of, to some degree. It's not the best part of it, but it's not terribly bad.
What is the new player experience from your opinion?
Open world map completion and the personal story. Probably.
How do you know to complete the map?
Well, actually, it points you to it.
It seems very intuitive, and if you kind of know what the MMOs are about,
it does tell you to do it.
But it doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you. it doesn't tell you that you need to complete a map and why you're
no,
completing the map.
No, Joe, you're not actually right here. As far as I remember, when they were reworking like this whole open map experience, you have at
a
the
little
top
indicator.
right corner, like, hey, go here. There's new stuff there. There's a vista that you can watch. There is a point of interest that you can unlock. There's a heart that you can do. It actually kind of tells you what to go for, at least the first map.
Okay, so, all right. So even if that's true, right? Even if that's the case, which I think I think I remember seeing like it puts like an arrow, right? Like kind of directs
also,
you in the.
I'm really sorry that I'm like interrupting you here. There are also those scouts scattered, and you are like told to go to one of them in like the first thing you do after your intro. You're like, go to that scout.
And it tells you what
that
to do.
Scout will tell you that there's a heart here, there, and here. Probably like then you intuitively kind of feel that, oh, the game is telling me that there's something to do in those 3 places. I probably should go and do it.
Yeah. So like that's fair. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So then, all right. So it tells you to complete the map, right? Does it give you anything regarding your class, weapon choices, any customization options, any abilities? Like, I know you get an ability as you progress through your levels, but you don't really understand why you're picking certain utilities. I know there's a lot of people who don't actually know where to spend like hero points and so on and so forth. Like, there is not that much of a tutorial for new players. It is very much left up to, if you go and do this heart and you go and do this vista and you go and find this POI, you will gain some experience along the way. You'll level up and you unlock new abilities, and then the rest is up to you. There's no linear path to your growth, at least initially, that would give you a better chance. There's people out there that run condition gear with power weapons and power utilities, and they're like, why don't I do any damage? And they're like posting on YouTube like, how the fuck are you doing so much damage? And I'm there like hitting for like 10. Like, people are getting to maximum level and they still don't know that, right? So it's less about like just an immediate guidance towards like a certain location that I'm making reference to. It's more so about like the intricacies of your class.
Why don't they read their abilities?
There is something that I can say about this, actually, because I went to that, Quartermaster level 80 mentor. And game doesn't tell you anything. Fair enough. When it comes to actual your skills, your abilities, anything like that, it does it probably points out that, hey, here is where you spend your hero points. I'm fairly sure that you will get at least once. It will point out that, hey, look at your traits and skills tab. But yes, that is bad. However, here we are at the level 80 Menta, and when you're asking about your build, first thing it'll do is it will tell you, I can give you default set of traits and utility skills, which is, feels weird, man. Don't give people anything default, without them understanding anything. But there's also a replica that says, how can I experiment with my build? To which it gives answer that means nothing. Find weapons that you like, add utility skills to complete them. Well, great job, ArenaNet. And then after clicking 3 or 4 times already, where can I learn more about the builds? Go to forums and check out fan-made build calculator sites to research suggestions for good builds.
Yeah,
do not look for that in-game. Go to the internets. Yes, I guess here ArenaNet is just relying on their community to actually do stuff with each other, and we are failing.
The thing is, right, I don't think it's that much of a stretch that you could actually get some suggested builds from the player base actually integrated into the game, because they feature the wiki. Okay, there's a /wiki command, right? So you can go ahead and go direct to the wiki.
Many people don't know about it, though.
That's true. Many people don't know about it. So maybe they should they should prod people towards that, because if you don't know what an ability does, so suppose that a player comes, what does weakness do? What exactly is weakness, right? You can just go ahead and do /wiki weakness, and it will tell you exactly what weakness does. So maybe if the game pushed that pushed that command a lot more to people help players get into the game more, and then if the wiki had, say, some recommended builds on it or something like that, right, on the Guild Wars 2 wiki, that could be curated by the community, by the wiki, the same people who curate the wiki, right? You could maybe take that kind of approach actually. That might be a way to go there. But I genuinely believe that just encouraging people simply to read their abilities would be a really good start, right? Like, I mean, and I definitely, one thing is really important that needs to happen is understanding what weapon is like a power weapon and what one is like a conditioned weapon, because I think you're going to find a lot of people who are like, yeah, dude, I'm like my carrion longbow ranger, right? You know, oh yeah, wow, amazing. But yeah, the game, I do think the game kind of has to force people to do this, because, like, you know, logic says people can't possibly be this oblivious to the game mechanics, but here comes reality. Reality's a knocking, okay? Reality's a knocking, Jaw. Here it comes, right? And yeah.
We've got people that are watching this stream who obviously, I would say that 99% of the people here have either played the game or played the game, and they probably played it to the same degree that maybe that you have interest in, because that's where they've flocked it. They've learned about raids, or they've learned enough about their characters to possibly raid and whatever, right? So they have the same sort of interest. They're not complete degenerates. But when it comes to players that are not currently watching the stream, players that have actually made a character, got to level like 20 or whatever, and decided that there was not enough of a helping hand in order for them to stay around and, you know, get to where they thought they needed to be because they were confused, they're not here because they're not playing the game anymore, right? So you have to understand that there's going to be this element of player that does not want to have to like figure everything out for themselves. They're going to want at least a little bit of information, and that in themselves will help, you know, help their journey through the game, and that will grow. That removes a barrier to entry, right? You can't expect every single person to just like not everyone's going to read the entirety of their skill. Not everyone's going to go through their abilities and go, okay, so this one does like condition damage and fire damage and power damage. How are they different? What's precision? Does precision work with conditions? Like no one's going to fucking go and do that. That should be on the game to make things like that are a little bit elaborate more easily accessible. I think that it's very biased for, like, I mean, for example, there was a couple of people in the chat that were saying like, oh yeah, well, you know, I found it out, that's why I'm playing the game. Well, you know, what about those people that aren't here? What about those people that have literally had that barrier and fucked off because they don't want to work it out? It's the people that are playing the game are not they're not the people I'm talking about, right? If you're playing the game right now, then what relevancy does this have to you? You found out how the fucking classes work. You found out how your character works. You found out all that shit. You know, there's no correlation between you and needing this tutorial experience. The people that we want to be like talking about are the people that have gone. You know, and no, it's not about bringing back stupid people either, Duma. It's like there's a different type of audience for every game, and like there's multiple different audiences in fact, and you can't just like say, oh well, you know, the game is complex and therefore the game is only gonna fucking appeal to those people who are good at the game. It's not the way it is. What about like kids? What about like, you know, young kids who like, you know, they want an MMO, they like MMOs, they like the look of Guild Wars 2. They're not gonna have the intuition to actually figure that out. They need a tutorial system. Final Fantasy 14 has a massive player base, massive. And it's from kids to fucking grown adults, and they still have a tutorial system that breaks down the game and how it works, how their skills work, what the AoEs look like, you know, what timings are looking like. Like, it's get rid of this fucking elitist shit where you're like, oh well, you know, just because I did it, we don't need a tutorial system. Like, fuck off with that shit, dude. That's not how it works. That's definitely not how it works.
Well, I would actually, just to kind of slightly, just, you know, kind of spitball here a little bit. I think it's not just understanding skills that needs to be taught. I think the problem is like one layer above that as well. I think it's understanding what you're supposed to do in the game, like at the end game. Right? I'm talking about the end game in particular here. Right, I think a lot of players are a bit lost as to what you're supposed to be doing in the game. Like, what, do you make a legendary, right? Or, you know, like what? How do you get gold? You know, maybe you could get some, you know, how do you do, like, I don't know, stuff like key farming could even be like an interesting little option for people to do, right? To, you know, level, you know, get these black iron keys by doing this, like Silver Waste, Octavine, like meta events, you know. I kind of like it's even more than that. It's not just what your abilities do. I think it's what are the activities that the game is offering you. Stuff, I mean, I guess it kind of sends you a mail about this. Like, it will send you a mail about fractals, about dungeons, about raids and stuff like that. But I feel like a mail, we need more, right? We need more than a mail about it. We need to kind of see, you know, I think players are very confused with what you're supposed to be doing, right? You know, you get to level 80 and then now what, right? You know, it's crazy. Inks, is it hot where you are?
Yeah, it's a little bit warm.
Yeah.
These just came in the mail.
Yeah. Wait, Xeberneth, go ahead. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I feel like everything that I say will be kind of... It will sound wrong.
Ooh.
Because first of all, I feel like... Okay, tutorials are definitely a good idea. I think that it would be amazing if we had that. But at the same time, I feel like there will be a lot of people who will just pay zero attention to them, who will skip them, and who will still not know what the hell to do or how the hell to do that. But having them is definitely a better idea than not having them. Because there also will be people who are struggling but who want to know, right? Then about telling people how to play the game, here's we come to, you know, the Guild Wars 2, you know, God forbid they tell people how to play their game, you know, you were supposed to be free to do anything you want. Like, we will just, like, tell you once that, hey, you can do this, hey, you can do this, and hey, you can do this, and then you're a free people, do whatever you want. Like, oh, no, we will not touch you, we will not intervene. Like, oh, have your fun, you do you, boo, bye-bye. It's kind of, you know, ArenaNet needs to shift their whole, like, philosophy of the game to actually implement something like that, as cool as it maybe would be.
Like, it's not
I understand that it's incredibly
freedom.
stupid, but
it's not like you get freedom, right? So you get the freedom to choose what you do in the game, but being told how your character works, like is that really outside of freedom? Like just giving you the main basic.
No, I'm more referring to what TeaPot said about the fact that people don't really realize how the end game looks, right? Again, there are many people who even are kind of unaware of the fact that they can do raids because they think that, oh, not for me, you know, I'm not supposed to go there. I got one mail and nothing else. Like, I don't actually see the raiding community. It all sits in that, you know, that mystical, you know, Lion's Arch aerodrome. I don't go there. That stuff is scary.
And they also think it's not for them just by the nature of it, right? Whereas the the reality...
I also heard somewhere that it's extremely toxic, you know, all those annoying streamers. They're smushing peepos in raids. I'm a small peepo. I'll get smushed. Like, ooh,
absolutely.
I gotta get my helmet on.
Yeah, there are a lot of preconceived notions which are well, I know this is such a ridiculous thing to nitpick, right? But like the fact that raids are called raids in Guild Wars 2 is like an absolute clown fiesta, right? Okay, it's like, oh my god, it's it has a connotation and people are intimidated by it, and they think, oh no, that isn't for me right off the bat. Or even with fractals, right? Even with like dungeons and fractals, people are a bit intimidated by the content, and they just, and as a result, they go like, well, what am I supposed to do right now? And I think another big problem here is that there are quite a lot of long-term goals in the game, like legendaries, but that is a big ask for a lot of casual players, right? I think it needs to be directing you towards little things, right? You know, like how to get some cool skins, or you know, like tell the players to at least, you know, play through all the story or something like that, and then it will reveal more achievements, stuff like that. Like, I think people can get kind of overwhelmed and really not understanding what the value of these things are. So I think that freedom is great. Now, freedom for me is great. I love being able just to like wander around and do whatever I want. But I think in a way it should be default on, right? You should be free by default, okay? But there should also be an option for players who want a more directed experience, the more traditional MMO gamer, the people who like World of Warcraft, like Final Fantasy, right? That sort of thing. It just tells you, okay, we're going to do some tasks, here we go, right? Like, this is what you're going to do, and the game just tells you exactly what to do in what order. Because for a lot, let's be honest here, guys, okay? For open world content and story content, you can play that without having a goddamn clue, okay, of what your abilities do. It's only when you get to stuff like, even fractal, you can arguably have no idea what you're doing and still get through this, right? And you obviously with raid you kind of need to, and PvP you need to be pressing the buttons ish, right, to be able to do it. And that's where
carried.
You can get carried. That's true. You can, and that
at least through raids.
Yeah.
PvP.
Yeah. But yeah, the content guide is basically until level 80 and full map completion. Yeah, I think that's not enough for people though. They want to understand the end game. I don't consider map completion to be end game, right? Like it's not enough. Like I think people want to get into the meat of it, right? Like you know, unlock the fashion, you know, unlock the proper game, you know, get into the fractals, get into the fucking dungeons and the raids and stuff like that, and like the you know the big meta events and stuff like that. I think the content guide is too simplistic, right? It's not it's too zoomed in, right? It's too zoomed in. It needs to it needs more scope. Right? I think players don't understand the point of Guild Wars 2. You need to see more like, oh yeah, you can go and fight all these cool bosses all around the world, right? Oh, you can, you can farm this event. Oh, you need gold. You're feeling a little impoverished. I get Yvonne Nasway comes up to you and says, oh, so you see you're a little bit down on your luck there, buddy. You better go over here to Silverwaste to farm some gold. I'm just giving random examples here, right? Okay. Yeah. I've Agony in Fractals. I'm really tempted to say you should just like delete Agony. Actually, I don't really like the Agony mechanic actually because it does make it a bit AIDS to get into, right? That sort of thing. But that all this sort of stuff could be really good because I think it's like the macro that people struggle with. The micro can work, right? Because the content guide can kind of lead you around, but it's going to lead you around doing the exact same thing for all eternity, right? I think it needs to show you the variety of things you can get into, like PvP, like world versus world, fractals, raids, etc. Right? It's that's what needs to be happening, dude. Okay, it needs to be happening to get a proper overview. Okay, a proper fucking overview. You know what I'm saying, dude? Okay, it's good. It's good. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. With fucking Guild Wars 2 community. Casual game, boys. It's casual game.
Exactly.
What do you think, Inks? Inks has been enjoying it. He's just been sitting back and enjoying it, dude. He's going crazy.
I'm playing with these random fans that I bought, and some of them are complete garbage. And anyway. What are we talking about?
Tutorials, dude. People getting into Guild Wars 2, not really knowing what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, right? I think that they need to do a better job with combo fields. I feel like that's something in the game that just isn't really utilized by most people. Break bars, when that was added, they didn't really teach you anything about it. And for a lot of that stuff, it might seem very intuitive. You see a break bar, you use CC, you break it. But some people really need to be right. There's some people who really need to be shown crowd control and what that is. And then gear pairings and how some of that stuff works. And Jawgeous was talking earlier about Final Fantasy 14. Never played their tutorial, but if it's really good, then that's something ArenaNet needs to look into maybe implementing. The problem, as we all know, is who's going to do it, where are they going to find the time. It's going to have to be somebody's love side project, however they say that. Just kind of like. It shouldn't be, you're right. But remember, what was it? The camera thing? What the hell is it called?
Action Cam?
Action Cam. That was somebody's like side project they did after work, which sounds ridiculous to anyone who's ever been in a professional position of anything, that you need to work after work on a pet project in order to implement it into the game because I guess there's not enough time, resources, or
I can tell you where to find those fucking resources.
But anyway, the point is like the tutorial thing feels like it would have to be a pet project when it shouldn't really have to be, but that's kind of the situation we find ourselves in, I think.
That's poor allocation of resource, to be honest. I mean,
I totally agree, and that's a problem that ArenaNet as a whole company has had for a very long time, but
I don't know, dude. Like, if they're putting all their eggs in one basket, as far as the Living Wild is concerned, because they think that's the future of the company, they need to think more about like retention as well. Things like retention make a massive difference to community size, and if you're going to have any form of marketing, right? This is like fucking business 101. If you have any form of advertising campaign, but you can't actually interest people once you get a hold of them, what the fuck was the point of the marketing campaign? Right? So why would you not have any like easy sort of like transition into the game? Why would you not enable that? Why would you not have a tutorial system? Why would you not be looking to get those people involved as soon as you get their hands on them? Because like it's very cutthroat. Business is cutthroat. Gaming communities, like gaming companies, it's all cutthroat. So if you get a hold of somebody and then immediately you lose them because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, that is your fault as a company. Like you have failed as a company to retain your audience. You've done a great fucking advertising campaign to get them in the first place, but holding on to them, you failed. So this should not be a side project. It should be a very critical project. In fact, it should be somebody, or somebody's like said, okay, we're going to sideline that project for a little while. let's work on this one, because that one is like, next year, this one needs to be implemented as quickly as possible. It's literally just fucking moving people from one section of the company to another to work on a fucking, an important project, which would enable the lifespan of the game. It would prolong the lifespan of the game as you get new players in. But, that's common sense. What are we lacking?
Well, yeah,
content.
There are two.
There?
I'm really in two minds about this sort of thing, because one half of me wants to say, well, yeah, they're going all in on this stuff because a lot of the living world doesn't require tutorials because of how utterly trivial it is. But then the other half says, but wait, people have no idea what Guild Wars 2 is even about, so people don't latch onto the game and they don't have retention for that reason. So it's such a, I don't know. I don't envy ArenaNet in this situation. I do think, we're here saying, we know the way, right? I think it's very difficult to even quantify a lot of this stuff because it's so complicated. And I would really love to hear. Again, this comes back to almost like the idea of the roadmap and the understanding of what they want. Like, what do they want? Do they really care that much about retention, or do they want people to effectively play this game like a TV show and log in for the story, then log out until the next episode of the TV show comes out, and maybe they buy some mounts, maybe they log in for an event and buy an item related to the event on the gem store, that sort of thing. And I think they're trying to marketing, being as charitable as I can, what they're trying to do is they're effectively marketing Guild Wars 2 to the people who can't hack it in other MMOs, the people who don't want tutorials, don't want to have to learn about the game. They want to play in an online world that doesn't actually require them to interact with other human beings, right? That's kind of what it seems. Guild Wars 2 is incredible at feeling alive with loads of people running around, and yet you feel totally alone and isolated. I've never had an MMO experience like that, seriously, where you can feel alone surrounded by hundreds of players. It is remarkable how well they actually make other players irrelevant in Guild Wars 2. It's so odd. It's the least MMO-y MMO ever, and to be honest, I think that may be where they want to kind of push the game, right? They want the game to be the game you play if you don't like World of Warcraft, if you don't like Final Fantasy. The marketing is the other games, right? They're like 500 IQ, right? The marketing for Guild Wars 2 is Battle for Azeroth. It is BDO.
They're not new people if you can't retain them, dude. Think about how many people came across with Lazy Peon. Where are they?
Well, I mean, they're gone because they were probably, the thing is, if you're talking about that, people who watch Peon or sort of like Asmongold, Soda, right? All of these players are more veteran players, and ultimately Guild Wars 2 doesn't offer as much to those players as perhaps they're looking for. Right, they're not the target audience, right? The people who came over with Peon are not the target audience for Guild Wars 2. That's kind of what it feels like, anyway, right?
It's not just that, but when Peon stops playing, when Angry Joe stops playing,
they go. Yeah.
Well, Asmongold never played, but they go with them to their next adventure because they're dedicated to that particular streamer. They don't care what game they're really playing, to be quite honest. They just want to play with.
Peon still plays.
Yeah. Does he stream it?
He doesn't stream, but he does still play. Actually, yeah, he does still play. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, if he's and I don't know Peon, but if he's interactive with his community, Discord or whatever, saying, "Hey, I'm playing Guild Wars 2 today," then maybe some of those people stick around. I know specifically people like Angry Joe, his audience jumps to whatever game he's playing currently. Anthem just came out. We're all playing Anthem for like a week. Oh, Anthem shit. We're going over Division 2. Like, they're following him, and his army are going from game to game to game, right? So,
yeah.
Another thing is, if I may ask, if Guild Wars 2 isn't interested in all of those players who want so much, why don't they fully commit to actually making the game as easy as possible? So you don't need tutorials or any of that stuff to actually pass the story, maybe even the fractals, the raids, because right now there are people who are struggling with the POF story, right? Remember, people failing Balthazar and stuff like that. If they really want that, why don't they fully commit to making the game as easy as possible?
because they
because
know.
then the game feels like Big Wing 7, you know, not hard enough for people who want it hard, not easy enough for people who want it easy.
Because that's what I think that's also another part of their strategy is they want to be something for everyone, right? You know, they want, because here's the thing, right? Like, okay, so imagine the situation where I quit Guild Wars 2, right? I still really like this game. Would I still log in every 6 months to play a raid wing? Yeah. And you know what? I probably would, being honest with myself. Yeah, I actually really like the raids, even though Wing 7 was easy. Yeah. You know what? I'd log in every 6 months to play, you know? And I think that's kind of true for a lot of players, even more veteran players. Would they log in if they did something to PvP? Yeah, you know what? I think they probably would. They'd come back and play. So the strategy here is probably quite effective. That's why they want to have a little bit of everything, a little bit of something for everyone, right? You know what I mean? It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think it's an effective strategy. And you know what? I think we do have a bit of a warped perspective because we like to play the game a lot. In a way, if you have another game to play simultaneously, another MMO, then it's a lot. Suddenly it starts to make a little bit more sense, right? Because there's no sub fee here. They don't need me playing every single month. What they need me to do is log in when there's something I want to do, and then I can just log out again, right? Will I play the story? Yeah, probably. I actually kind of like them. I do like. I don't mind playing through it once. It's pretty. It's a bit of fun. Right, play through the new map, right? Even if I didn't play Guild Wars 2 as my main game, which is probably unlikely in the future, I would still log in whenever there was anything new. And I'd probably even buy the fucking expansion, to be honest, dude. Right? Not for the gem store updates. But yeah, sure. Whenever there was new content, I would play it. And you know how I feel like ultimately a lot of us are mad at Guild Wars 2 for being a fork when we want a spoon. You know, the intended use scenario for Guild Wars 2 is you log in and play the content, and then once you beat it, you just wait for the next thing, right? And then maybe you see something cool in the gem store, and you buy that shit, and then maybe you don't, right? And I don't know, that's kind of how it. It's kind of how it feels, right? Like we're using the game wrong. We're doing it wrong, chat. Okay, we're all doing it wrong. There you go.
The thing here, as much as I agree with the fact that Guild Wars 2 would want you to log in every 3 months for Living World, I feel like eventually, if they again fully commit to that, and everyone in the community will just be logging in every month and playing another MMO on the side, who the hell will be buying gems if you're unless you're I'm sorry, maybe it's my poor Russian mentality here, but if I have another game I'm committing to, I'm spending my money on ESO, I'm logging in Guild Wars every now and then to play the new Living World, but I'm actually not, I don't care about the new outfit. I don't want to spend my money on a game I play every 3 months just for story. Eventually it will lead to at least in my opinion, I might be completely wrong, but it might lead to a complete demise. Nobody cares about the game enough to actually spend money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe, of course, to be fair, there will always be hardcore casuals who care about the game enough to actually be playing it constantly, crafting all the legendary, collecting all the skins, stuff like that. But how many of them are there? Just, I guess the hardcore casuals are about as many as hardcore PvP World versus World of Raiding players. And again, I may be wrong. Maybe there are people who have enough money to spend, on every goddamn MMO they're playing. They can cash out on BDO, cash out on ESO, and cash out on Guild Wars all at the same time.
Yeah,
which I find extremely unlikely.
The thing is, though, a lot of people do this.
I might be wrong.
Maybe not the veteran players, but they absolutely do. This does happen with a lot of players. You do even see the veteran players running around with the latest outfit, even though they don't play that much, or even they don't do this. Would you or I do it? Very unlikely. Because we're more likely to spend something money on that we're really heavily invested in. But a lot of people do this. Even more veteran players. Look at fucking Envy, dude. Envy is he's going crazy. He's fucking going crazy. And yeah, people do buy gems and they do buy the new outfit or the new skins, the new Blackline keys, the new utility item, right? That fancy new, inventory slot, right? And it's not as extreme as I was perhaps saying, like, you don't just log in like literally every 3 months, right? Like, you know, people just don't play that much. Like, you play an hour or two a week, you log in, like, have a bit of a mess around, like maybe do a boss, do a raid, do a PvP match, right? But you don't play the game. You don't get like mega like ultra like hardcore going on the game. Like, you can still care about it. And would I still care about the game even if I wasn't playing? Yeah, I would still care about the game, you know. But you know, perhaps not as much, but I would still really enjoy it. Would I potentially spend money on Guild Wars 2 if it wasn't my main game? I guess probably not, but I think a lot of people would. I mean, you got to bear in mind, I think I don't really buy stuff on the gem store. A lot of stuff on the gem store, like all the outfits, like to me, it's just kind of worthless. But it's just a very different mindset that a lot of players have, and they are very willing just to log in, like maybe once or twice a week, or even once, you know, like a few times a month, or whenever there's content. And they do actually, you know, buy some stuff. They do spend some gems, right, and do a little bit of that. And I really understand where you're coming from with the investment, and it certainly is less effective on veteran players, right? I think, yeah, you're right. Like, veteran players spend a lot if they're invested, and they won't spend much or at all if they're not invested. But where their income, where their revenue is coming from, is from the more casual audience who do not play that much, who do only kind of log in a little bit, you know, here and now and again, and it is for mount skins, it is for outfits, right? It is for blackline keys and stuff like that, or whatever they are selling on the gem store. Fucking gathering tools. I mean, it blows my fucking mind that people buy like the gathering tool skins. That's crazy. Like, why would you do that? It's complete insanity to me that people go for that sort of thing. Yeah, it is. It's madness, Inks. What are people doing? Okay. So yeah, and I want to believe. I want to believe what you say, Xeberneth, but I kind of feel that it's just, unfortunately, we're the minority. I think everyone is like, oh yeah, dude,
definitely
give me
those
microtransactions, man. Yeah.
The thing is that I'm just afraid that eventually, like, because as of right now, I feel like maybe again I'm completely wrong, but we're slowly coming to the point where less and less people are actually pleased with the state of the game, casual or hardcore. You know, eventually, if people stop caring even about that, you know, living world every 3 months, just because, you know, or about that, you know, raid wing every now and then, or, you know, open world boss train every now and then, because, like, even if you're a casual player, doing the same stuff for years will eventually just get you bored as fuck, and you will move on to something else. And you will play something else casually, and you will spend your money on something else casually.
And that's why I think we are going to see a change in approach. I mean, it's funny, actually. It's funny this, right? Well, I think we'll see a change in approach in Season 5. This was actually, you know, all the details we have on this are actually from Jessica Price, actually. She actually went ahead and she was tweeting about how there will be a different approach to Season 5 and things are going to be mixed up. Because I think you're absolutely right. Like, I do think people they have growing discontent with the game, with the state of the game, and it is basically the same thing. Like, Season 4, the one we just had, it was basically like they kept releasing the same fucking map, right? Doing the exact same shit on every single map. You know what I mean? It's just it's not good. So I do think we are going to see a mix-up, and I think they are acting on this, right, Xeberneth? We see that what they're doing here is adding these events, right? The World versus World event with the weird elite spec stealing thing. Okay, we see World boss rushes, we see meta event rushes, right? They're trying to mix up the say, go play this, go play that, right? Rewards. Okay,
that is actually great. Yes,
and that's how they're going to try and drive engagement. It's going to be like, okay, yeah, there's something there's a new fun thing every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks or whatever it actually is. As right now, here's Dragon Bash, here's Festival of the Full Winds, right? You know, event. Come and get your AP. You know, do your dailies, right? Stuff like that. That drives engagement, and that's when they can also drive those sales. So that's kind of the approach they're going to be taken. They're going to be taken, I think. And with any luck, we see some stuff for the veteran players as well. With hey, Dragon Arena, boys. You know, let's go. That's what I'm about. And we take it full circle all the way back to the Dragon Arena that we started off with, right?
I think you would be surprised, though, at how many casual players who come in and out of the game or any game frequently will randomly drop $20 to $30 on the game when they do come back. And I think that's where a good deal of their money comes from, actually. Black Line.
That is fine. We should just chill now anyway, seeing as things have already,
it's back.
You know. Yeah, I think we're back. Hang on, I just need to.
We are.
We're back. Are we back?
Yeah, ArenaNet
looks like
had
we're
enough
back.
of us, I think.
It was SC. They DDoSed us as usual.
Definitely.
Okay. All right, there we go. We don't appear anymore, unfortunately. Though, hang on, let me see if I can bring us. But I should be able to.
Don't leak anything.
No, we're not getting leaks. Oh well, look what happened. It's my Discord window is the wrong size now, so it's all ruined. Yeah, because it. Hang on, let's see. There we go. Hang on. Yeah, because it's a different place now. Hang on. give me 1 second, guys. Like people have just like swapped all over the place. It's a bit out of control here, guys. Let me see if I can bring myself back as well. Okay, you guys just gotta give me 1 second. Gotta try and reassemble here. We've got to remix ourselves, boys. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm not even here yet. Okay. Oh wow.
You use Manycam?
Yeah. This is so, dude. It's so sick. It's so good. So I can appear to you guys as well, right? Because if you don't, hang on. If you don't use something like Manycam, then I can't be in the call at the same time, right? This is so good. It's a great little system.
You do know that I only look at like the stream to see what people are writing in the middle. I don't look at Discord and this simultaneously.
Yeah.
I'm still Inks, by the way.
Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna swap you guys around. I was gonna go ahead and swap you guys around real quick. All right,
Consider yourself lucky. Who wouldn't want to be Inks?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I mean, dude, like Inks certainly in my community at least is viewed as like some kind of god. You know, like he's actually viewed as god. So I mean, it could be a lot worse.
That's not surprising.
It could be a lot worse. Hang on, I'm gonna swap you guys around. There you go. Get over there. All right, now you're here just in time to basically sell out, because Ings was just talking about the gem store. Finish your thought about the gem strings, and we got to get the fuck out, because it's this tea time. How long is this tea time? Nearly 3.5 hours. That's ridiculous.
6 hours.
Okay, 10 hours.
20. So basically, all I was saying was that the gem store sales, which I think they had a spike last quarter, by the way. They offer those limited time sales to make you think that it's some kind of rare sale. It's never going to happen again, which is ridiculous. Of course it's going to happen again, but and increasingly shiny things to entice you to buy something. So those players who are just coming in and out of the game for living story or whatever the reason is, it's like, oh, black feathered wings, gotta have those, I'll buy them. New sky scale or new mount pack, gotta buy that. So that's where the bulk of the money I feel like probably comes from. And I think that I think people sort of underestimate a little bit about how much money that really generates for them, because it's quite a bit, I would guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's of course where it does get a bit difficult, right? Like it's hard to speculate on this sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to even have this. Like, we don't have the stats. It would be good if we did have the stats, right? But I mean, yeah, that goes back into the communication. All right. Okay, we've gone all the way around. All righty, guys. It is time to finally part ways. Look at that Peepo Pants in the chat, guys. Look at that Peepo Pants. That's such a good emote, dude. Look how good Peepo Pants is. If you don't have Peepo Pants enabled, then I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, you want that shit.
It's a very strong emote.
Yeah, it is. It's a good, very high tier emote there. So, alrighty, guys. It is time now, okay, to finally outro-duce our amazing guests here. I mean, what a tea time it has been. An expansive one, covering an absurd amount of things and also covering a large amount of time as well. So, let's see. Where should we start? I'll tell you where we should start, okay? The brand new inducted member into the boys club. It is Xeberneth, okay? What do you do? What's going on? Like, what's the...
Thank you, my lord. I stream Guild Wars 2, mainly. Maybe a little bit of horror games now on Thursdays, maybe. Just a little bit. I'm doing pug raiding, mostly. Sometimes Euro raiding, but very, very, very rarely. Also fractals, dungeons, anything PvE. I'm way too small of a peepo to tackle PvP, but maybe one day. When Granddad Ajax will take me by the hand and lead me there. Maybe. You can find me on twitch.tv/Xeberneth, or you can follow my Twitter. That is it.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, my lord.
Look at the bot. The bot has got that. And of course, links below, links in the chat as well. All right, let's see. Moving over to the right, it is, okay, the man who roasted ArenaNet, advocate okay, for personal gain through Twitch drops, okay, and the ultimate sellout. It's Jawgeous.
Dude, it's like the worst, man. You literally just cucked me with ArenaNet. You just cucked me with everybody else. Like, what kind of introduction is that? Fuck.
Yeah.
Everybody here knows who I am already, to be honest, because I'm that much of an idiot.
Oh,
so.
you're famous. Yeah, I mean, you got that.
No,
you got
I'm
that
not
e-fame.
famous. It's famous for the wrong reason. Like, people literally know who I am because I'm that retarded.
Well,
so
that's not true, dude. Well, come on.
Oh, come on.
They know the energy level, right? They know the fucking energy level, dude. Okay, you're like best Hollow-Smith streamer, right? Like better than Angels. Right?
Do you know what?
Yeah.
All right. You know somebody in PvP that calls himself God of Dragon Hunter, and that I made a Hollow-Smith called God of Hollow-Smith.
Yep.
Ironically, to make fun of him, people think it's unironic.
Oh my god, that is quite sad.
That they actually think I'm that retarded.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, that feels very bad, man. That actually feels pretty bad.
The only thing I want to say, I don't want to sell out, but the only thing I want to say is that if ArenaNet is watching this, I didn't mean anything like personal or anything. As
look at him. He's trying to hang on. He's trying to cling on.
It's literally like that last bit of jizz dripping out.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh.
Nice.
Gotcha, guys.
Trying to climb up that strand, you know?
Okay. Well, I mean, there you have it. What a statement there. But yeah, no, definitely check out Jawgeous. He's a good lad. Supporting the PvP scene. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Memes, meme. Yes. Okay, and finally, it is, okay, basically the last surviving member of the TeaTime cast. MMO Inks, loved by all. Okay, Lord of Twitter. Okay. And actually, I want to say like the most PMA person actually here today. Nice. Okay, except maybe me. I'm PMA. I'm ultra PMA. Nice.
I love you, ArenaNet. I mean that.
Oh.
So, thank you for watching the last TeaTime with me, MMO Inks. I'll now be announcing my retirement from Guild Wars 2 to continue my Twitch journey as a full-time Euro Truck Simulator streamer. Make sure you buy the game with my referral link at www.eurotrucksimulator.com/playalonetogether-inks. Follow me on Twitter and tune in on Mondays to see my journey throughout Europe as a Kona trucker.
Nice. There we go. I got the bot to post all that. And then finally, guys, it is me. Okay, I still stream Guild Wars 2. If you want to hear me, okay, communicate about the game and, I don't know, kill I-100, okay, then that you know this is the right place for you. Follow this, okay? We've got TeaTime every week. Okay, we've got Guild Wars 2 content, all game modes. We're talking ATs, we're talking raids, we're talking killing camps in world versus world because I don't actually want to play, okay? We've got it all, even open world, guys, even open world, okay? When I can yell at Salt enough to do a glorious triple trouble worm kill or something like that. We should do that. I like that, boss, actually. We should do that sometime. We should do that. Okay, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the stream, okay? Thanks, okay, for sticking with us all this time. Okay, you guys have a wonderful evening. We're gonna raid Zorik, okay, because I want to keep the energy level really high, right? Really high. And of course, follow, subscribe to everyone here, guys. Use that Twitch Prime, guys. Hit that Prime, come on, and use my referral link, guys. Okay, buy 50 alt accounts, okay, just in time for me to leave for WoW Classic. What an introduction that is, guys. Thanks for watching. Say hi to Zorik for me, and we will see you guys later. Good night, my friends. Look at all those. Wow, look how PMA that. Okay.